Yeah. Hey. Yeah. You talk big, you don't know. Acting sharp, but your moves so slow. Point and preach with a mouth full of smoke. Run your name, then you laugh like a joke. Sit down now, take that seat. All that heat, but your facts miss the beat. Need to watch, need to judge all day. Mad at the world, so you spit that hate. You don't build, you just break. You don't see, you just fake. Hands on glass, eyes on my moves. Try so hard, but you always lose. Trolls, talk that junk. Trolls, all that front. Go sit down, you're too late. You hate, watch life, then call it fate. Trolls, mouth so loud. Lost in the crowd. Running folks into the ground, smiling thin when the truth ain't around. You pick bones with a bit of grin, try to damn every light you see lit, but I keep mine in a steady line. Hard steps forward, I'm doing fine. You can bark, you can throw your blames till the whole room knows your game. You don't build, you just break. You don't see, you just fake. Hands on glass, eyes on my moves. Try so hard, but you always lose. Trolls, talk that junk. Trolls, all that fun. No, sit down, you're too late. You hate, watch life, then call it fate. Trolls, mouth so loud. Trolls, lost in the crowd. Your crown is made of borrowed doubt. All that noise, but you fade out. I don't need your twisted praise. I keep moving through the haze. Trolls, talk that junk. Trolls, all that fun. Go sit down, you're too late. You hate, watch life, then call it fate. Trolls, mouth so loud. Trolls, lost in the crowd. We were all there, in the chair, in the room, the blackest nights in the moon. 4 people murdered in the night. My innocence taken, I'm guilty. I did not fight. You took it all away in the end. There was nothing left. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. All redacted. it then, I'll say it now. I'm innocent, they blacked me out. I'm a fool, I'm a man, I'll never say I did it. I can't. She took it all away in the end. There was nothing left. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. All redacted, blacked out. Corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. Nothing left for me now. Nowhere to turn to. I thought you were here to protect and serve, not ruin my life. I thought you were here to protect and serve, but you lied. Redacted, blacked out, corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. All redacted, blacked out, corruption and lies. All the truth, it's gone now. Typical unique, bring the case files in. Bronx Tales, yeah, we dig right in. Dago in the TruCrime Cafe. The last 24 make the lies give way. Pavarotti with the facts so clean. Harsh reality in the break room screen. Truth and transparency line by line. We tear the mask off every single time. No sleep, no praise, just cold hard days. Every missing piece gets brought to light. They spin the smoke, we cut the rope. If they bury truth, we bring it back tonight. Truth revealed, truth revealed. We don't bend, we don't kneel. Truth revealed, truth revealed. Justice moves when we feel. Day after day, we clear the haze. Truth revealed, truth revealed. We won't stop till it's real. Till it's real. Jules, true crime reactions, eyes on fire. Hildreth investigates, keeps the pressure higher. Amber Vance with the sharp lit frame. Travis T. Logic calling out names. Glitch DNA ripping through the noise. Every fake excuse gets drowned in the void. Idaho for Delphi, Karen Reed. So many shadows we expose the bleed. No sleep, no praise, just cold hard days. Every missing piece gets brought to light. They spin the smoke, we cut the rope. If they bury truth, we bring it back tonight. Truth revealed, truth revealed. We don't bend, we don't kneel. Truth revealed, truth revealed. Justice moves when we feel. Day after day, we clear the haze. It's real. Until the whole world knows what's real.
All right, now it's time. Sorry, guys. A little bit of a glitch there. Welcome back to the cafe. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday today, an amazing weekend. Thank you all for joining us, as always. Appreciate you all so very much. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button on your way through the door. Today is a wide, completely open discussion. Let's break it all down. Everything we've learned recently, everything we know now, put it together and break it down and see what we can come up with, folks. Just in a conversation at the very least. Too many things coming and going, too many things to talk about. So that is what we're doing today. Thank you all for being here again. Please make sure to hit the like button, share this out. Let's do it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Neon lights flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with a restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. Mirrors cracked, reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hug the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn, a requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the brink.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, guys. Hope you're all having a great day today. Thank you for being here. As always, very much appreciated. Everybody, please make sure you're hitting that like button on the way through the door and share this out if you will, please. And thank ya. Very much appreciated, all of you. Here for a wide open discussion as we're going to break it all down. So much stuff that has been coming out day after day after day. We are going to break it down, discuss it, whatever we do with it, see what if it makes any sense at this point, if we can put different things together. I call it a live dive in some senses. However, we're doing it. That's what we're doing. So, thank you for being here. Let's see who we got joining us so far. Realize, analyze. Welcome to you, Maggie Valentine. Great to see you. September Virgo. Welcome back. Great to see you today. Common sense. Ain't that common? Great to have you here. Accomplished Day, always a pleasure to see you. Croft, welcome back to you. Zippity Double Z, welcome to you. Great to see you today. Let's see. Terry Street, Maggie Valentine, September. Jeebs is in the house. Good to see you, Jeebs. Thanks for joining us today. Always appreciate it. Blue Eyed Butterfly, welcome again. I just said that. I know I did. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Simply Solo, Yinzal's in the house. Sweet Pea, welcome back. Pixie Dust, great to see you. Mikey's in the house with the last 24. Good to see you, buddy. Miss Tandy, welcome to you. Great to see you as always. EEZ8B, welcome to you. Great to see you. Aquamarine, welcome back to you. Baby Aim is wonderful to see you today. Lisa Winchester, welcome. Nicola Donahue, welcome back. Great to see you. Let me see here. Moonlight Musings, welcome to you. In Stitches, welcome and thank you for those jewels. Karen Folk was welcome to you. Karma Police are in the house. Everybody behave. Dylan's in the house. Junior, welcome back. Good to see you, buddy. Great show this morning. Miss Karen, welcome. Miss Becca, welcome. Great to see you. Great to see ya. And Miss Ozzy McLean coming from Ireland. Great to see you, dear. Miss Karen from Zeville. Good to see you. Canadian Cat Lady, same to you. Wonderful to have you back. Which who. Good to see you. Think twice. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Think I almost got everybody. Kiss me where I pee. Welcome to see you today. Welcome. Good to see you today. I forgot a word there. Sorry. Yeah, I think that. Let me check the bottom down here and make sure I'm catching. I didn't get a storm, Stitches. Didn't hit me. I don't know when, but welcome back, Skilla. Good to see you. I think I did. I think I got everybody just about. Let me see here. Tomboy's in the house. Good to see you. One moment. Right. All right. Miss Kawanda's in the house. Good to see you, Miss Kawanda. Thank you for being here. Um, Happy Sunday to everybody but Jesse James Bailey. Thank you so much for that, Miss Kawanda. Number one towards our goal for the day. Very sweet. Very awesome. Thank you as always. Very much appreciated. Somebody better get Cat Benatar. Uh-oh. It was the boss lady calling the bat phone, the Dago phone, whatever you call it. Welcome, Blondie. Good to see you today. I think I got everybody. Pretty sure I did. Lola Getz, welcome. Mystic Sin, welcome. It's like we got 164 peeps, 68 likes. Maybe we can catch that up a little bit. So bite her back, Tomboy. I see you, Junior. JPP, welcome to you. Blue Devil, welcome. Yes, thank you so much, Kawanda. Very much appreciated, as always, dear. Miss Jenny, good to see you. No worries. Thank you, Blue Eyed. We appreciate you. We'll see you when we see you. Hope that goes well for you. So, how much stuff have we received recently on this case, you guys? So much stuff. Insane amounts. I would bite her back. Just stop biting you if you bite her back. All you got to do. Let me see. Lolo, welcome. Yes, it is. We looked at that last night on the Riddick room. Let's see here. Okay. Never fails. Never fails. Mary G. Coleman, welcome. Frustration, speculation. Good to see you today. Miss Tina, love Tina. Good to see you. Welcome, dear. I'm coming. Welcome, Junior. How are you, sir?
Oh, just another wonderful day in paradise from
Mm-hmm.
the $1 billion studio.
Yes. How is that amazing $1 billion studio you got going on over there?
Oh, we got gold-plated everything. Even the
I've
toilet
heard that.
papers. Even the toilet paper's gold-plated.
I've heard that. You got this massive studio with it. Yeah, dude. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah,
Good for you.
it's awesome.
The only way to do it. You can't just do it on your phone, Just
Yeah.
saying. It's one of them things,
My name is Jeff.
Hey, Maggie.
So,
Hey, Tina. Everybody else.
Chris WPA, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. They've all been on a terror since 6 a.m. Woke up to Meowse headbutting me because she thought I need to pay it. Well, then you should be paying attention to her. If that's what she thinks. Yeah, Dylan did a good show earlier. I appreciated it.
Yeah, thanks, Terry.
Next time, just answer through the door. Okay. Whatever works. Whatever works. Good to see you all here with us. 170 beautiful peeps in the house today. Thank you for joining us on this awesome Sunday. It is gorgeous out. Just way a little too hot for me. And we are here to break this down. Break it all down. CAO Kane, welcome back. Good to see you today. Natasha Hill, welcome. Sorry. Are you growing the beard back, bud?
Yeah, it's just kind of naturally coming back.
Well, you know what helps. What they answer. You have, when you shave, it stops coming in. You know that, right?
Yeah, but
I get it.
I got other pressing matters.
I understand. Yeah, we're in August. The next month is when I start growing mine back in. So we'll see. Mr. Callahan, welcome. Did you hear the latest blood footprints found on Dylan's green jacket that resemble blood footprints in Santa's room from both Dylan and Bethany have sneaks that resemble prints? I have heard about that. Yes,
Yeah, I think we went over that like last week.
we did. I think so. Yes, sir. Written Dreams, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, it dropped here too, Chris. It's not humid. It's just hot. We already drained our swimming pool. Well, it's almost done, and we're getting ready to put that away and get rid of that. Tear it all down. Not put it away. Tear it apart. Tear it down panel by panel and all that fun stuff. And then since we're moving, it's going with us. Southern California is probably always hot and humid. Welcome from the UK, Stannery Man. Thank you for joining us. Yes, you did. You did a good job on that stuff. Thank you, Miss Tandy. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to Mr. Dylan Hildreth Investigates and Reacts here, please. Thank you, Miss Tandy.
3 away from 500.
Yeah, 3 better be happening soon. We hit that 500 mark, then we got to work on your watch hours and get you moving, buddy. For sure. It takes time for those to register, but yeah. I sent you a message back on that earlier.
Yeah, I saw that. On YouTube, it says it usually takes about a week.
Oh, well, I thought it was like 48, 72 hours. It usually showed up for me, but I get it. That's probably their longest period of time they give you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm going to get there very, very soon.
Yes, we hope. We hope. Got to get Mikey there, too. For sure, for sure. Jeebs is sad. Why are you sad, Jeebs? What happened now? What is wrong with you? Brace yourself.
You weird alien man!
Is that why you were sad? I did it once earlier. Oh, Jeebs, I'm so sorry, hon. So sorry. Thoughts and prayers for you, dear. Always. Always, always in our thoughts and prayers. We got your back here. Thank you, Tandy. Yes, we are thinking of you and keeping you in our thoughts and prayers for sure. So sorry. Ms. Margaret, welcome. Realize, analyze. 91 in Jersey, 96 with humidity, of course. Jonas Spear, welcome. Sub to be number 48. Thank you. Welcome. 498, sorry. All right. Jump into some stuff here. Yes, Debs in Space, welcome. All right, I'm going to pull something up here and get something moving with this. We appreciate you, Jeeves. Shane, welcome. So I'm going to start with this. I know you guys have probably seen this, and then we're going to jump into all this other stuff that we're talking about. Just as a reminder. You see here. I really got to get a new door. Hello, P of Sweetness. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for asking.
How are you doing?
Another day above ground. It's a good day.
Any day alive is a good day. I agree. What are we going to talk about? Oh, you're muted.
You're supposed to read my lips. A little bit of everything.
Barely read a book, let alone lips.
Don't be telling everybody, calling me dad when you're saying stuff like that. No, no. Just saying. Anyway, we're breaking it down. Oh, you got all this new information that has been released over a period of time. It's a lot, guys. We've taken in a lot of stuff over probably the last month. Okay, a whole lot. So we're gonna break this down with what we have, what we've heard, what we know, things we've talked about. Just take it all in and just little by little discuss different things. So, welcome. Common sense said I fell asleep watching you once. Woke up pooping myself to the sound of the door. Oh, sorry. I'm working on getting a new door put in, so hopefully it won't be so loud. Welcome, Karmic. I don't want you pooping on yourself, so we don't need to have that. No. But yeah, we're gonna break a whole bunch of this stuff down. Speaking of doors, right here, I think there's somebody at the door. Hold on. Yep, I thought so. 1 minute. All right, welcome, Miss Analyze, Jersey girl. How are you today?
Hey, how you doing there, Dago? Hey, Dylan. Hey, Sweet Pea.
I'm doing good, thank you, dear.
I'm glad to hear it. Dylan, I want to tell you, I don't know if you saw my comment in the chat, but I was said that your beard is becoming it. It suits you when I'm just saying. And the mustache, all of it together. So that's just my opinion, but
Yeah, he's got the whole Grizzly Adams thing going on for himself, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be coming back. I just needed a couple weeks of not having to pull my hair every time I ate something.
Yeah, I can imagine it gets funky after a little while. I know my husband has a goatee and he keeps it really nice, but if sometimes it itches, especially if he cuts it short.
Welcome, Jesse. And do I have Tomboy?
I like it shaved. I think it looks good.
Either way, Dylan.
Welcome, Lexi.
I'm predisposed to beards, so
Yep. A lot of them are. My wife likes mine too, but
yeah, I like the facial hair.
I look too much like Santa Claus these days.
Not you, Tom. You don't look anything like Bill Thompson, Dago.
Turns white. Well, no, I don't. That's for sure. But Tomboy said, just take off your damn Yuckies hat.
Oh, she said Yuckies instead of Yankees.
You don't like the Yankees.
My husband's a Mets fan. He's from New York originally.
If I'm,
how do you
I
pick
guess
the
you
Mets?
could say, if I'm rooting for baseball, I'm gonna go for the Guardians or the Indians, as I've called them for my whole life. But
yeah,
good to see you, Karmic. And we got another one here.
What were you gonna say, Dylan, about the Mets?
Sorry.
Like you live in the one of the best baseball cities on the planet, and you pick the B team. How?
Oh.
I'm gonna leave you to all of this yourself here, buddy, in a minute.
David, did you hear that?
Keep pushing these buttons.
My husband's sweeping for me, and I asked him if he heard what he said. He's like, "Nah."
You're gonna have people kicking your door in pretty soon.
It's all right. They're Mets fans. They'll miss just like they do when they're at bat.
Oh my God.
As much as of a fan as my husband is, he admits when they're going sour. He does admit it when they're not doing well.
Usually in September.
Yes. Well, where are we at here? Moonflower, welcome, dear. Good to see ya. E-Potty, welcome. Can you hear me, Tomboy?
Oh, we got another Mets fan. You see that? Go Mets.
Yep. E-Potty. Are you in here, Tomboy?
Yeah, I'm in here.
Sure. Okay. Just making sure you could hear me.
Yeah,
right, guys.
I can't hear very good, but I can't figure out why.
Everybody say something real quick, please.
Something.
Did you hear all of us?
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Yes, it keeps trying to connect to my earbuds.
Oh, okay. Got you. Well, while you're working on that, I'm gonna run this real quick. See if this brings back any memories.
Now, we do want to get right to some breaking news this morning out of Moscow, as classes are canceled for the University of Idaho today following the deaths of 4 students.
Nicole Hernandez live in Moscow right now. Nicole, you've been there for an hour or so now. What are you hearing from police this morning?
So, Tim Channing, what we know right now is that police do still have this house here blocked off with crime tape, investigating here. We have one person also kind of manning the scene, making sure nobody messes with the area. But what we know is yesterday, this house right here is where police found 4 bodies. And later that day, University of Idaho confirmed that they were U of I students there. So take a look at this breakdown here of the timeline that we have of how things happened. About 1 p.m., we heard reports of a murder investigation, or excuse me, homicide investigation near the college campus. An hour later, the school put out an alert on social media. It said Moscow PD is investigating a homicide on King Road. They asked the community to stay away from the area and shelter in place as a precaution. Around 3 in the afternoon, Crime 2 arrived in Moscow. Neighbors said most people living in this area are part of U of I Greek life for our students. At around 5 in the evening, the Moscow Police Department confirmed they had found 4 people dead. But it wasn't until late that night that they confirmed the victims were students. The University of Idaho also said Moscow police do not think there's any active threat at the moment as they continue their investigation. And again, classes are canceled today for University of Idaho students. They will resume classes tomorrow. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, Crime 2 News.
Now, last night, the University of Idaho released a statement. President Scott Green says in part, an event of this magnitude can understandably have significant impacts on those left behind. As vandals, we must come together and lift each other up. He also is letting students know that there are several support options available, including drop-in counseling.
Well, we will continue to follow this developing story here on Up with Creme. You can also find the latest information on our website, creme.com, and inside the Creme 2 app.
That was as loud as it went, unfortunately. So that was the first, I think one of the first things I saw on this. It wasn't the actual first one. I couldn't find that one anymore, but one of the first news breaks we saw in this case. Going on 4 years. But no, yeah, we're about 4 years now. I think it is 4 years.
4 years in November.
November, it'll be 4 years. Sorry. I get my start date here with that date mixed up all the time. October is my 5 years, is what I was thinking of. Sorry. Anyway, so that was like the first news break we saw in this case. One of the, like I said. Welcome, Greg. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us. Dago tries hard, but he misses the evidence. What evidence did I miss, buddy? I'd love to see it if I missed it. Michelle Weddle, good to see you. It's been a while. So, from that point there, when we first saw that, to where we're at today, things have changed a lot. Am I wrong?
A little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little.
I know. So, let me ask this question since before we go forward, and this is to all of you in the chat as well. Today's a little different than normal, and I did this for a reason, as you'll find out as we go on. So Tomboy has been here with me on this from the day that I started. I almost thought, yeah, she has. She was on the other cases I covered with me before this even dropped. So I know where she comes from. Dylan, when did you start into this case? How far into it was it?
Originally it wasn't too far off. Maybe 2 weeks into the case is when I got interested in it.
Okay.
It wasn't too long after Kylie Rodney kind of tampered off.
Which a little heads up for anybody that followed Kylie Rodney. Dago is going to go back and do a whole refresh on the Kylie Rodney case and rewind and do the whole thing beginning to end again, which I was very deeply involved in. That's coming soon, by the way. For anybody interested in that, tune in because it's coming. So when you first tuned into it, Dylan, where were we at with the storyline and the timeline and all sorts of stuff? Let us know where you were at with it when you came into it, if you don't mind.
Well, as far as just kind of looking at everything and the way that I kind of process things, to me, it definitely felt like it was kind of where my stances were at that time, or like
Just
Okay.
yeah, I guess a basic synopsis of what you believed and what you knew of it at that point.
So, if I remember correctly, we were quickly aware of the uh 8-hour time difference, and I was that I obviously still to this day have not let go, and I always felt like so originally when people were starting to point the fingers at Jack DeCour, and I actually was able to lay my eyes on him, I was thinking, no, it's not him. You would see like some sort of slow escalation from the breakup to where we got. And at that time, we didn't have any evidence of that. Now, obviously, now that we do, now questions need to be asked, but that's for later down the road. But when we got to the point, but I always kept a side eye on Dylan and Bethany. And then once they got the name Koberger, it was kind of like, okay, that's a little odd. A little out of left field, but okay.
Right.
And the prosecution said, hey, we got this mountain of evidence. Just trust us. We'll show it in court.
Trust us. Trust us, bro. We were told that many, many times.
And at the time, it was, okay, we'll see what happens in court.
And none of us, right. Good point, buddy, because none of us had a reason not to trust any of them at that point. None of us. We didn't know. We had no idea in 2022 what the hell was coming down the road with this. None of us did. We all just said, oh, you got the guy. Was it 7 weeks into this? They caught him. Hallelujah. All right, cool. And I think most of us that were covering the case, that were involved in the case, expected it to be done within the year. 4 years later.
And
There's somebody sitting in prison, and here we sit. Go ahead, Dylan. I didn't mean to cut you off, bud.
Well, yeah, you're all good. And then when the more and more we got closer to the trial, it was we have an insane amount of evidence. We have this, we have that. Okay, we'll see at trial. We'll see. I personally have not seen enough to say that he's guilty. So, but again, we'll see at trial. Well, all of a sudden the plea deal comes up and it's like, oh shit. Maybe they do actually have stuff on Brian. That's interesting. And then the documents come out, and we're going through them, and it's like, there's nothing here. And then we start getting the body cams, and then we start getting the actual interviews from the horse's mouth. And it's like, this doesn't make a lick of fucking sense.
Right. Right.
And
welcome, Jesse.
And then in the ISP doc, I don't remember which one, and this is when I completely flipped on Jack DeCour, because for the longest time, even though I wasn't really creating content on this at the time, I was fully with Jack D just being innocent. He's just the poor sucker that
I don't think anybody ever suspected him just based on his appearance in the beginning. Nobody really thought, no, he wouldn't be him, you know?
Well, and I was looking at it from a psychological perspective, because people would notice a gradual, psychotic break.
Well, none of that stuff was talked about back then, remember? None of it. Nothing about him having issues with anything, him struggling with the break. None of that. It was never brought up. So, yeah.
And we know now that he apparently was, too.
Right.
Yeah, and now that we know, now we got to look back over at Jack DeCour. And it's especially disappointing because they never did. They never took Jack D seriously.
Well, that's because the family came forth. And again, guys, remember in the beginning, I know this is hard to do. This is why we're doing this today. Remember in the beginning, we didn't think anything about, well, I don't want to say we didn't think anything about Dylan and Bethany. We just didn't talk about it. We didn't look down or I guess have any kind of negative thoughts or statements directed at any family members.
We tried to make excuses for them, Dago.
Yeah, right. There you go. That was 100%, Jesse. Good point. And we did it.
The benefit of the doubt, you know.
Yes, we did it with the
But that
family.
required us to make excuses for them because their behavior was so off that the only way you could reconcile it was through saying they were passed out from drugs or threatened, or and that's what we tried to do in the beginning, by my memory.
Yes, very good point. And I think most of us, the first person we looked at as a suspect was none other than Jack Showalter. Okay, and it's mainly because he was there. He walked with him. He was weird. He acted weird, I should say. And then off he goes. And then all the rumors started happening. He left that night, 3 a.m, went to fucking Africa, some weird shit like that, whatever. None of that's true. We know that. But all of that come out. And all of this, 90% of this case was rumor based for the longest time. We couldn't get real, true to form facts other than the documents, blah, 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 so on and so forth. It took a while for all that. Anyway. So that was in the very beginning. As you know, like Jesse said, we were making excuses for the roommates, and it was taboo to talk about them. You couldn't talk about them like that. Nobody was questioning anything the Gonsalves family would say because we felt so bad, of course, as we should. And we still do for their loss. But nobody questioned any of this. And then we have, I think, I wish Sarge was here because he would reiterate it. But at one point, Sarge was like, we really need to be talking about Dylan and Bethany and looking at Dylan and Bethany a little bit more than we have. Why did they not lock everybody down? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Sarge was all over this. He was pissed about it. And then the Linda Lane footage started to be pumped in. Okay. It was funneled in almost like on time, like it was set to a timeline where it had to happen at this time. Everything did. And we were pulled further away from Dylan and Bethany by going with that Linda Lane shit. Okay. And we spent the next, Jesus, you guys, I think I spent 6 months on a damn grub truck. I spent a good 3 months on the Linda Lane footage, and I was like, there's nothing here. I wasn't completely right, but I have said since day one that this was done by several people, and that was, these are the facts, that are facts. We all kind of thought there was a drug aspect to this, 100%. Definitely never thought one person did this. I don't think any of us ever understood nor agreed with that, which is one of the reasons why we called everything out like we did. And then when we got the PCA, everybody went, what in the hell is this? This makes no sense. I mean, I remember Jesse being up here, I think, right after we did our first PCA reading, and he said, no, it doesn't make any sense, Dago. That doesn't fit. This doesn't look right. What I see this, and this wrong. And at that point, we're like, okay, so you're, that's when everybody said we're expected to believe one guy did this. This guy. I think the Gonsalves family even made the same statement at one point on down the line. Like they looked at Brian and said, what? He couldn't have done this. We all did that. Okay.
Yep. It was in one of their interviews.
100%, but they're dead set on him now. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one thing that caused me to doubt was when Ann Taylor produced the response to the alibi and said my client was driving around and we can't tell you exactly where he was, but rest assured he wasn't there, but he was driving around. He could have been close to and it just didn't sound very good. It wasn't presented well. It made him look more guilty than just saying nothing, in my opinion.
Very good point, sir. Very good point. Miss Kane says, I initially thought the girls were doing Backpage OnlyFans. Well, a lot of us did. Welcome, Firebox.
I still think there's an aspect to that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying there's not. But again, that was taboo. We didn't really talk about that because we were, again, still, it's about the victims, guys. We've always been it's about the victim. Never have we, trailed off of that. Never have we walked away from that. This is always about getting justice for the victims. It always has been. And until this other aspect of the constitutional bullshit that happened and Brian and all this other stuff. Welcome, Jill Avery. Thank you for joining us. So Enro, good to see you all. Turkey Creek, thank you for joining us. Miss Sophie, Lexi, everybody, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you guys very much. Make sure to please hit that like button if you will and share this out. And legally guilty, factually innocent. Welcome. 9 months in. Very much appreciated, Miss Christina. Happy Dagoversary to you. Right there. Very grateful that you're part of our family. So, moving into this, let me move on here just for a second. Jesse, let me ask you this, because when did you come into this case? I can't remember exactly. I know you've been here for a long time.
It
You've
was
been with us.
before the PCA was put out there. I believe, if I had to guess, the first show that I participated, I've gone through your archives and tried to find it, and I wasn't able to do it because I was just curious myself. But I believe right around the time that Fry gave the press conference, right around that, in that window between then and the PCA, and we were still trying to figure out the 8-hour delay. And we were, like I said, we were making excuses like, well, if they did a bunch of drugs, they could have passed out for 8 hours. And
I remember that. Yeah.
It was
Good point.
I guess there was quite a window between the Fry press conference and the PCA, but it was at some point, probably in the December of 2022.
Makes sense. And what were your first thoughts about what the hell this was, Jesse? When you
There's
first
no
saw,
way. There's just no you might as well have reported a story about aliens abducting human beings. In my opinion, that was my opinion. Is they're telling me something that is tantamount to pigs flying and aliens abducting humans, and it can't be true. The story is just so far out there that there's got to be a better explanation.
absolutely, and I think we were.
And it's never ceased to blow my mind how many people are willing to try and explain away that 8-hour delay and make it,
Yes.
well, you wouldn't know how you would react. No, I'm pretty sure I know how I would react. I'd call fucking 911.
You are correct.
Because every angle you want to go with, you're scared, you call 911. You're whatever. Frozen shock phase to me is a myth, and yeah.
Well, remember when we read that, Jesse?
Frozen
She was in frozen shock phase. Right. And she was in frozen shock phase. That was one, and we were like, who the hell says that at her age? Nobody. We knew that was not something that came from her mouth. Okay. And if somebody was clad in black, again, another statement. We all were like, what? And we knew then that was law enforcement created, period. I mean, it was something we all just said, yeah, she didn't say that. They put that in there for her. And that's when things started going sideways. We were like, well, why are they doing this? Why are they telling us this stuff? It like Jesse said, there's no way. There's no way that this happened the way they said it did. I don't believe it. It's bullshit. And then everybody starts, the question marks go up all over the place. And everybody starts asking these questions. So, and I know Sweet Pea came into this late. Sweet Pea, when did you come into this, if I can ask you? And where were we at with it when you came into it?
So I actually followed it since the news broke, but I was not like in the YouTube scene or was even skeptical. I was in the mindset, at first, I didn't know. I trusted what was coming out but I obviously had questions. The 911 call was the biggest question. And I'm like, there's something. I always had these like little things like that is suspicious. And then when they said that it was Brian, and the PCA came out, the timing of when the murders were to occur also stuck out to me, how long it would take. And especially knowing before that even Xana was awake. I mean, that was part of even the beginning narrative. So I'm thinking if she was awake, that there would be some sort of, altercation that would take more time than what happened. So I was questioning those things. But I was trusting, like Dylan said, that we're waiting to see, where is this? How do you know that's his car? How do you know? You said his phone shut off. So what do you really have, type thing? And then the plea happened, and I was like, wow. whenever he actually, Bill Thompson said whenever he said there was no connection, I was.
Yeah, that was a slap in the face, wasn't it? To have them
yes, that
confirm
got
all of our suspicions at the plea hearing. So Brian's going to plead guilty, but by the way, you guys were all right. We never actually had any evidence. By the way, that's how I felt.
I know, and it was bizarre. So as somebody who's like kind of not questioning like outwardly or like willing to do more, I wasn't at the point where I mean we really didn't know anything, and so yeah, whenever he said that there's no connection, I'm like, well, then how? So that was the whole thing with that. And then I want to say I was on YouTube and I saw Jules and I saw her talking, and I'm like, I wonder what is she talking about? She seems really passionate. I'm like, I got to see what this girl is talking about. And then, I kind of just watched to see, kind of to be a troll, I guess you would say. And the things that she was saying were things that I had previously questioned, but she was actually, this is when the documents were starting to roll out. And that's when I became invested. And once I saw it, I could not unsee it. That was it. And so,
yeah.
So I was watching Jules for a very long time until she came on to the verdict room, like I guess maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And that was when I was introduced to you. So that was how that went. But I have,
gotcha.
Yeah, I did not know. I did not, like I said, I questioned it, but it wasn't until all these documents came out that I was shocked. I mean, and I was pissed. So I felt like I needed to go do something.
Jules and I, it's wild because Jules and I worked like together on this in the beginning a lot. Like we would have phone calls, folks, about this because we couldn't understand things. How do we work this out? What does this mean? What do you think? She was on my panel almost every day. She didn't really do panels. She never has, but she was over here just about every day. Her, Sleuthy Goosey, quite a few other people were in here constantly trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
A lot of the creators that are out there today that have 5, 10, 15,000 followers started here before they even started their own channel as panelists. A lot of people started that way.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Now, Jules had her own channel when she was over here, but we were just the only two really that were so, I think, deeply into this one. Landon wasn't really that deep into it at that point even yet. And we were just hammering away at this day after day after day. It never has changed. It's never made any sense to anybody, which is why we're still doing what we're doing. Well, 4 years into this. So anyway, and then realize, how long have you been involved? When did you jump in? Where did you come in on it? And what did you know at that point?
I was close to the beginning of it. I know that I remember hearing about it at first. I remember thinking that was horrific. I never really heard of anything of that type nature in my lifetime. I've heard of familiicides and things of that nature, where a lot of people are unalived at once, but this particular thing intrigued me because I was like, that's really crazy. Like, you don't really hear of that. And then, of course, then my eyes were on, I was waiting for developments, just like everything you said. I concur with that, kind of trusting the MSM to bring us the truth and, some updates and trying to gain understanding of what exactly is going on, who are the players in all of this, the same questions, the same kind of questions we would have. But as it started to go along, like I started paying attention to like what the Banfield stopped. I was analyzing like that whole video, and there's some things that are very interesting about that video. I think all of us can definitely say the same about that. And then there were, things about the, Dylan and Bethany. It started to snowball. And then I started to think like, what I thought to be interesting is it reminded me of Kylie Rodney, in that the Kylie Rodney case is very, 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 very suspicious. And in the same exact way, it gave me that same feeling like,
yeah,
okay, like I feel like not true justice was done here. Like I feel like something is not being said that should be said. There were secret things were a bit secretive. There are a lot of thoughts that I have about that case, but it reminded me of that. So even now, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of what drew me to this one.
Yeah.
'Cause and I'm still so, which is why we're gonna do a whole review on Kylie's case again. I'm still pissed off at the way that ended up and the way they just
Same.
kinda closed it off and shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the way that went down over there, folks.
No.
That case, if you ever followed it, the end result they gave us for that is not the answer to that case.
Mm-mm.
I will bet everything I own on it. There's no way it's not right. Okay, we all know what we saw, what we looked at, what we delved into, what I dived into that like you wouldn't believe. You think I'm in this
Oh, yeah.
one? I was upside down in that case, folks. It's
Same.
crazy.
Same. I
So
was very immersed in that as well. Yeah.
and
So,
they just cut it off. They shut it off. They shut it down. They locked it out, and that was the end of it. And
yeah.
so that's why we're gonna head back over there at some point and redo that one.
Yeah. I
Welcome,
think it's
Laura,
worth it.
Diane.
I definitely think that's worth
Yes,
another gander. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, that's
welcome,
what
Miss
happened with
Kim.
this case. And so getting up into, as things began to be released and, I kept my eye on the Gonzalez's and was listening to what they were saying. Everything you guys said, I was right there with you, thinking the same things. And I started seeking out other sleuthers that where, listen to what, like Lana and, you, and I think even at one time, I definitely start off with, Huda, Huda London. I know she gets into some controversial
Oh,
things.
yeah, I remember Huda.
Yeah, yeah, she gets into controversial things, but there were some things that I thought were interesting that she brought up as well. And then, and then of course Jules and you, and so it just I was trying to glean because I'm looking into it myself, but I was listening to a lot of what you're saying because sometimes when you're bouncing things off of each other,
Yeah,
you hear different perspectives and you go, you know what? I didn't think of that.
right.
So
That's
that's really what got me in this community in itself. But yeah, this case, yeah.
agreed. So everybody came into it, at their own point, caught themselves up. For some of you that came in later, some of us that have been here from day one, we're still reeling with everything.
Mhm.
And then like over here, I had well, it wasn't just here, it was at multiple channels, Drunk Turkey, T-Rev, a few other channels. Kim, WSU Mom Kim popped up and started relaying information about the case because of a child that she has that goes to school there or went to school close by there that knew people from there, things like that. Okay. And everybody's going, wait, what? What? People knew things 8:30 in the morning. People knew that we were told nobody knew nothing until they called 911. That
Mhm.
everybody was sound asleep when this happened. That the survivors were all sleeping. Everything. And Kim's going, no, this is not how this happened. This is what happened here. This is how this went. This is how that went. There were people standing outside while people were inside. Blah 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 blah. Everything Kim said, and Kim got hit pretty hard on that too. They were like, you're
Yeah.
lying. This is not true. Well, guess what? A lot of what she stated has come to fruition, folks. And I've literally gone out and apologized to her directly and said, "No, I'm sorry that I didn't stand up for this more because you were right." And I spent late nights on the phone with her as she's trying to
Mhm.
explain things to me, and I'm like, "What do you mean? How did that happen? When? Why? All that stuff." I'd be
Mhm.
sitting here at 3 o'clock in the morning talking to her on the phone because it was real for her. She would cry about it. She would be upset about it. She contacted law enforcement agencies about things she had seen and heard, all that kind of stuff. So,
Wow.
anyway,
I was one of her bigger defenders as well.
yes. Yeah, a lot of people were.
And I defended her against some bigger names in the true crime
Yes.
genre as well. And the people would say to me, "Why would you take her word for it when you could read the court documents and that's all just hearsay?" And my reply would be, "Yeah, but the court documents don't make any sense, and everything she says lines
Yes.
up with other
There you
information
go.
we can verify." So her story, while I can't 100% verify if she's being honest, I can verify that it makes sense, and I can verify that it matches up with what the known knowns are, while the official documents do not match up with the known knowns.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And
Mhm.
a lot of Kim's reasoning for not showing certain receipts on things was because it was going to affect other people that could have been hurt because of their receipts coming out. She was worried about that. And I
Mhm.
get it. Okay. And then we had Dave that popped up with Drunk Turkey, did an interview with him, and then did an interview with Lana. And then again, pointed out that things that we all are seeing today now, it's finally just now today coming out. Dave's interview was 3+ years ago. Okay. And everything he's clarifying today is stuff that we've always thought, but we could never prove it. Well, it's being proven right now as we speak within the interviews we're seeing, the statements that are being made from different students and friends and stuff. But it would not come out 3 years ago. They kept it buried as long as they could. They would not allow any kind of a drug aspect to be attached to this. We had a parent's family come out right at 2 days into this saying, there's no drug aspect connected to this. There's no love triangle. There's none of that stuff. And we were like, okay, thank you. Move on. And
Mhm.
believed it. Okay. But now when we look at these things, all the things we were told to not look at is everything we're looking at now.
Mhm.
You guys know what I mean. Like, don't look here. Don't look there.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's the
means
whole
look.
point.
That means look there.
The
You're
the
the
car that
opposite.
was found, yes, exactly. The car found in Eugene, Oregon. I've always said, okay, no, you don't want me to look at it, but guess what? I'm going to because I'm telling you there's a connection.
Yeah.
And we
And a lot
found
of the things that they ruled out and said, yeah, no, that's got nothing to do with it.
right.
The way they did it so quickly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they had have just said, yeah, we've yet to determine whether that's connected to the case. If that was their answer, that would be a lot less suspicious. But when they're conclusively ruling things out very quickly, it makes you want to dig a little bit deeper. And the car in
Correct.
Oregon was one of those things.
It's
Yeah.
like getting ahead of the narrative, which is, honestly, what they were doing, what Dylan especially was doing in the 911 call. I mean, she was already trying pretty much at 4 a.m. Like,
Yeah.
their mission, that was their mission, was to get ahead of the narrative and not actually talk about what people usually talk about in these instances. Like, you would say, we're going to trust this investigation is going to play out. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. So, I mean, that seems more logical than just saying all these absolutes and the way that they said that how long it took for them to arrest somebody and how quickly they were ruling people out was suspicious to me. I remember looking back thinking that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. And
No,
another
fully.
thing, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
Keep going, guys. I'm going to grab my drink. I'll be right back. I can still hear you.
I remember Harsh talking about how he was questioning right off the cuff. How are you clearing Jack DeCour? How are you clearing Showalter? How are you clearing these people?
Right.
That it makes no sense.
And how is there no threat to anyone else when you have no idea what happened?
Yeah.
So
and
I can remember now how I got my start in true crime because I was lurking in the chat just watching, and
he's a
it
lurker.
was
A lurker.
I believe when the original PCA got dropped, that there was mention of the DNA on the knife sheath, and I'm not an expert when it comes to DNA, but just logically looking at that, the way that it's worded in the PCA, the fact that there was no DNA anywhere else, it was almost exculpatory because the DNA that was on the sheath clearly couldn't have been placed on the sheath at the scene of the crime. Otherwise, if the DNA was shedding at the crime scene, it would have shedded to multiple locations, not just one speck on the sheath. So the DNA had to be on the sheath before the sheath arrived at the scene of the crime. And, I pointed out some of the inconsistencies and the lack of reliability with the DNA evidence. And I left that comment on one of Harsh's videos. And then he made another video sharing that comment and breaking it down. And that gave me enough confidence to feel like maybe I should get involved and talk about these things more. And I'm glad I have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you have too. I'm glad that you stuck here with it. I'm glad that Sweet Pea, you decided to get into it, realize you as well. Dylan, very grateful and proud of you for jumping into this and doing what you've done as well, because if we would have all just stepped off to the side and just let it be what it was, imagine where we would be with it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one would have cared.
And I'm so mad. And especially now since this post-conviction.
Hold on 1 second, P. I don't mean to interrupt you. Real quick. Mark Perkins, why are you cutting off the comments? They show up and then you click them off. I'm not being shady. I'm just trying to run through as many as I can. There's a lot of people in here I'm trying to put comments up. So I'm just kind of flashing them through so that people can see them and then look at the chat. So that's all. Anyway, sorry, Sweet Pea. Go ahead.
No. Actually, I don't even remember where. Now I lost my train of thought. No.
I'm sorry. I like to try to approach things as soon as I see them so that they don't get out of hand. That's all.
I 100% agree. It'll come to me, and then I'll let y'all know.
Another thing about the Gonsalveses too is they even said that they didn't think that they didn't do their job as far as they think they let some people go. How do they say it? They were a little too quick to rule people out. Certain people out is what they said in the beginning. So as far as then it's got to be like people like Jack D or Jack Showalter and
She also said in that same, I think it was in the same phrase, that sentencing she was talking about, that she believed it was, Christy said this, it was somebody very close to Kaylee, somebody that they knew very well.
Yeah.
And that's not Brian Koberger by any means. We all know that. So, but what happened to that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's changed. Everything's changed, and the narrative keeps increasing. And like Sweet Pea mentioned earlier, it's like getting ahead of it. Trying to mention that 4 a.m. Pretty much at 4 a.m. Trying to push that narrative, because at first they were saying like the 2 a.m. 3 a.m. hour. So they mentioned that, and then all of a sudden they shifted it, and then it went to the 4 a.m. So
the original timeline was 3 to 4 a.m. I think it was initially.
Was it 3 to 4? I thought it was like 2 to 3, but 3 to 4. So I knew it was earlier, than the 4, right? So I just found that to be a bit suspicious too. That was one of the things that stood out to me, and I started noticing the inconsistencies like that. It's kind of crazy.
When they released the 911 call, I thought that we would have been done with this. I thought okay, the jig's up, it's all over. You can clearly hear the performative nature of the people on the phone. You can hear them contradicting themselves. You can hear them interjecting, like you said, Realize, trying to insert things into the narrative, like the pretty much or can I tell you what you what happened pretty much? Mm-hmm. I don't know nothing. My friend passed out, but can I tell you what happened pretty much? Mm-hmm. But honey, you already told us you don't know what happened. You only think your friend passed out drinking. Now you're going to tell us what happened pretty much?
Well, you don't call 911 and not have a sense of urgency.
Nobody in college calls 911 because somebody passed out. People pass out at college all the time, and they don't want cops coming to check that out. You're going to deal with that yourself.
911. Especially if you're under 21.
Yeah, 911 is for serious issues only. And I mean, it never made sense. We all knew it never made sense. We read the transcripts. We knew they were talking to each other on Snapchat all night long. And yet, when the 911 call comes out, we had Jeff H. on the panel. I debated him for like half an hour, and he made excuse after excuse. And he's not, as special as he is, he's not the only one. There's a million people out there that are willing to try to justify that 911 call as I'm the conspiracy theorist for doubting those poor girls. I don't know. Yeah. It's pretty obvious to me.
And that's something else too, guys. They buried that call and hid it from us up until last year?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, why didn't they release it before? What's so?
Remember, it wasn't even anything at first. It was like that transcript, and it didn't have like half the stuff in it. It was very weird.
Mm-hmm. It seemed copy and pasted, like knitted together like different fabrics, just kind of into one thing. It seemed like pieces of the call or something. Like it was just really weird to me.
It's most definitely, in my opinion, I think most of us can agree, it's definitely fabricated. It's not a real at least from my experience, that is not a normal real to life 911 call. It just doesn't match up with anything I've ever seen or heard before.
Keep in mind, it doesn't jive with the Gonsalves family.
No.
They gave us a very descriptive play-by-play, like a month. It was kind of uncanny how the timing worked out, because, they hadn't spoken about that 911 call for the first year. And then they came out on Drunk Turkey and gave us like a very detailed explanation. This is how the 911 call played out. They explained it to us for whatever, they didn't have to do that, but they did. And then the actual 911 call blew their story out of the water. They weren't even in the same galaxy.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Welcome, your
Mhm.
favorite uncle. Thank you for joining us.
Oh,
So,
I remember what I was going to say. I told you that would happen.
go ahead.
I also with the so they were clearing people too soon, which I think G was making a comment about that too, and about clearing them too soon. But then also, I thought that they didn't have anything. They have no one. I mean, do you remember how long it seemed? It was a long time before they even got to the name Brian Koberger. I mean, it seemed like it was forever. I'm like, are they ever going to catch whoever this was? And so if I was thinking that, and I remember thinking that, it made me think that they were really trying to get their story, to get anything they were grasping at this point. I didn't think that they were actually, coming up with, I felt like they were trying to come up with something that they were reaching for, because there was nothing. Even already.
Very good point. Thank you, EEZ. And yeah, Tommy Jude was definitely very deeply involved. He's very missed today for sure. You too, my favorite uncle. Or your favorite uncle, I'm sorry. So I'm glad that you guys are here. KT, good to see you. Friendly Snake, welcome. Stephen Fillmore, welcome back, my friend. Good to see you. Anybody I'm missing, I will catch up, guys. Like I said, we're doing something just a little different today because I just think it's kind of a welcome, Moto. Good to see you, brother. Just something of importance, I think, to kind of refresh everybody's minds, and to look at everything we're getting day after day after day over the past month. Okay, thank you, Ro. So that's why we're doing this. So what I'm going to do next here, and thank you guys for being here with me for this. I appreciate this very much, Jesse, Sweet Pete, Realize, and Dylan. I'm going to play this next thing. If you remember the beginning of this investigation, okay, the first few days, Creme 2 put this out, I think it was November 18th of 22. It's kind of interesting. If you think about everything that's been presented to us up to the point today, okay, and that what we're about to see here, guys, let this sink in. It's kind of important, I think.
I've been here in Moscow on scene since about 3 p.m. Since I've been here, I've watched Moscow police cars come in and out of this neighborhood, where officials found 4 people dead. Neighbors say they began noticing police cars flood the area around 12 p.m. today. Moscow police say they responded to a call here on King Road for an unconscious individual. Upon further investigation, officials found 4 people dead. While police investigated the scene, the University of Idaho enacted a shelter-in-place alert as university officials reported a homicide near campus. As we've stated, that alert is lifted at this time. Neighbors say most people living in this area are a part of U of I Greek life or are students, but we do not know the identities of those involved or who lives at the residence. Officials are investigating. This is a very much developing situation, and we will continue to stay on the grounds until we have more information to report back to you. Until then, in Moscow, Janelle Finch, Creme 2 News.
So police still have this house here near University of Idaho taped off. This right here is where officers found 4 bodies yesterday. We now know the names of those 4 students. They were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin from Conway, Washington, 21-year-old Madison Mogan from Coeur d'Alene, 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves from Rathdrum, Idaho, and 20-year-old Dana Kernodle from Avondale, Arizona, and they were all University of Idaho students. Here's a breakdown of the timeline from what we know so far. Around 1 p.m., we heard reports of a homicide investigation near the college campus. An hour later, the school put out an alert on social media. It said Moscow PD is investigating a homicide on King Road. They asked the community to stay away from the area and shelter in place as a precaution. Around 3 in the afternoon, Krem 2 arrived in Moscow. Neighbors said most people living in this area are a part of U of I Greek life or are students. At around 5 in the evening, the Moscow Police Department confirmed they had found 4 people dead, but it wasn't until late last night that they confirmed those victims were students. The university also said Moscow police do not think there's any active threat at the moment as they continue their investigation. Classes for University of Idaho students are canceled for the day. They say they will resume classes tomorrow. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Moscow police responded to King Road for a call about an unconscious person Sunday afternoon. When police arrived, they found the 4 deceased students inside the home. This morning, the city of Moscow
for a
and
second.
University of Idaho.
Yes, sir.
This might be like a 2020 type of thing, but if I was following it this closely at the beginning, that would have been the first thing that my ears would have perked up on. You called about an unconscious person and you walk into 4 dead bodies? What the hell? You're muted, Dago.
That was the big thing. It still is. It still is.
Too. I mean, I thought that too, just as watching it in the very beginning. I'm like, what? And also, why didn't you just go check? You obviously knew. Just go check and see what's going on. Like
100%, because you know you don't call the police for an unconscious person. You call EMS. End of story. Okay. Or you deal with it yourself, depending on what it is. You know, nowadays, drug overdose and stuff. So that was shady in itself. That when they dispatched everybody, we didn't know how it went down at that point, but they called 911 for an unconscious person, and the first person there was a law enforcement official. Granted, that happens from time to time, sure, but EMS was so far behind, it was just weird to me. Okay,
Yeah,
and
by
that
the time-
bothered me.
By the time EMS got there, they already cleared the scene and had it taped up.
If you listen to because if you listen to the call, 911 was told to, or I'm sorry, EMS was told to stand down immediately. As
Yes,
soon as
they
he
were.
got there.
Yep.
So
If you notice, it's on camera too. I mean, you can see them with their bags,
what?
and then and then their
down.
bags are put down. Yeah, they put their bags down, the red bags, and yeah.
yes, and Nunez goes into the house in a hurry with carrying a defibrillator. Where's she at? Well, then Hunter takes him upstairs. He drops the bed. This has been such an issue for me, you guys. I can't get past this. I'm sorry. He drops the defibrillator at the entrance to the hallway, still another 25 feet from the bedroom, and drops it.
That makes no sense. Like zero.
Why?
I'm CPR certified and 0 cents. Zero.
Here's the thing. Nunez is an EMT and
Yeah.
was before a police officer.
So you
Again, why?
So that makes even more that's even more confusing because like he knows. I mean, especially when you being an EMS, the first thing you do, you're first responder. You're taking that bag with you right in there.
And
Like,
all he was told was we have a non-breather. That's all he was told. Not that she's for sure deceased. Not that how long she's been deceased. None of that was called over the radio. Okay, none of it. Even walking into a scene. Okay, if there is an odor, you don't stop what you're doing, guys. You don't back down. You do your job until you don't do your job. End of story. Or until EMS responds, whatever it is. The man dropped it before he got within 25 feet of the bodies.
On top of that, they won't answer simple questions like how many people are inside the house. They try to suggest that they're not aware of where Kaylee and Maddie are when
Kylie.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God.
When later in their statements, they sort of admit that they did know that they were there, and there was no reason for them to assume that they weren't there. And I mean, it's just logical. Yes. We've broken it down so many times.
And
before you would call police, you would consult your roommates that are supposed to be in the house. Before you call for help from outside friends, you would consult your 2 roommates that are upstairs. How could you possibly call out for help without consulting the people that are in the house? The only reason for that is if you knew they were no longer with us.
So here's my point. That's
There
a
you
good,
go, Jess.
good segue, sir, because here's my point. Nunez responds as first officer on scene, grabs a defibrillator, runs in the house, and drops it 30 feet from where the victims are lying. Doesn't say a word. Okay? Meanwhile, we know that the door was wide open all night. We've just found this out. Okay? Wide open all night. We also know that at some point there were phone calls made to people, and I've said this for a long time, you guys. There were phone calls made to people from that house after this happened, in my opinion, okay? And whoever it was, whether it was they called the university, the sorority, Dirty Daddy Green, law enforcement, whoever they called, I'm telling you, they called somebody from that house when this happened, and they were told to go forward. So part of my thing with this is I feel that Nunez knew something when he got there. I feel like he responded knowing something. You know what I mean, Dylan?
Yeah. So I have a theory and I have devil's advocate to play with the Nunez dropping the bag.
Okay.
So we'll just go the most innocent way possible. Let's say Nunez, as soon as he got up the stairs and he saw Hunter's face and he knew, oh shit, this is not what I was told. And knew that there was no point on taking the bag back there.
I agree with you. That's possible. But if you're a professional, no fucking way.
That's what I'm thinking, that there might have been blood, that he might have smelled blood. But in that case, you're going to still go in there and try to save their lives. You're going to still.
Do you think muscle memory would just keep you doing?
You don't make a judgment call. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't make a prejudgment call without seeing a scene
before you go up the step or up the steps.
Right.
And then the theory that I have with I'm guessing you can guess who, the know-all that we covered a couple days ago on my channel, Ava. What if one of those two made a call to Ava? Hey, what do we do? She likes playing mother.
Exactly. That's fine. That's fine. That's a good point. But it could be. It could be. But if you're doing your job, buddy, if you're doing your job and you're doing it the right way, you don't do that. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying that you're wrong or anybody else is wrong. All I'm saying is that's first proven they did not. Right then and there, as soon as it started, they were doing their job the wrong way. Fact. Okay? So
the whole thing sort of looks like it's been orchestrated all night long.
Right.
Like the call went into either law enforcement or somebody high up, and somebody who's above either law enforcement or somebody higher up than law enforcement. And from the get-go, from 4 a.m. on, it was damage control, narrative shaping, and everything else on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest problems I have is the fact that we know that Hunter already went upstairs when police arrived, and he at no point from walking in the door, walking up the steps, did he say anything to that officer. You know, he was under the impression that, or he gave the impression that he was trying to protect everybody that was outside. Well, that's fine, or protect the girls. But, I mean, if he would have said anything, that crime scene would not have been trampled over like that. It could have been handled way differently, and he allowed it to happen, and I have a problem with that.
Well, not to mention, we already know the 8 hours is a huge issue. That was probably what kept us all here in the beginning, like, what the hell is going on here, and made us all go, okay, I want to know what this is all about. So there's that, okay? But again, the initial call is an unconscious person. There was all sorts of rumors floating around about this, that, and everything else, whatever. All that aside, this is how it started. Okay? And again, I'm telling you, I believe there were phone calls made from that, or messages sent out from that house that morning, right after this happened, in my opinion. So it may not even have been them that called anybody. Somebody else very well may have made a phone call to somebody else because of messages being sent back and forth through these groups, chat groups, whatever you call it. But something was wrong.
I think there was I think there was a handful of people reached out to, and I do believe, in my opinion, I think Ava was reached out to. I think Bagman was reached out, or Barstow was reached out to, and I do believe that either Jack DeCour was either reached out to or was doing the reaching out, and then there was and Pete was either reached out to or reaching out.
Well, now we know that the door was wide open the entire time, and that's we knew that before, but it had never been confirmed in documents. But we had heard that the door was open, and you can speculate as to why. You want somebody else to discover it, right?
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what that was, Jesse. And like a compass said, between 424 to 426. Good point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was Dylan. She took photos. Phone records would prove it that there are in her outgoing Snapchats. There's my point. Okay. And the door was left wide open because this is an open door house. They're always coming in and out of this house. We'll just leave the door open. Somebody's going to see it and go, what the hell is going on? And walk in the house. We'll hide in the bedroom. They'll find the bodies. And we're free and clear. We don't have to do it.
And if you think about it, if that was your plan, you'd probably give it right up until about noon, right? Like you leave the door open all morning. You sit there and you wait and hope somebody goes to find it. If it hasn't happened by noon, it's probably not going to happen. So, plan B, right?
100%, sir. Yes, sir. Very interesting point.
And as far as Ava, like you mentioned, Dylan, I know Ava was in Kaylee's sorority, and I know Dylan and Bethany, they were in another sorority. They were the Beta Pi Phi. There's Pi Phi and there's the Phi Beta Phi.
Kaylee was only the Alpha Phi.
Alpha Phi, that's
Phi. The rest of them were what was it? Beta Phi.
Yeah, Alpha Pi Beta Phi. Yeah.
Pi Phi.
Yeah. So you had because Ava was that's why she was telling Kaylee to watch what she was doing. She was being told what to do, and not to open, don't open and carry, alcohol. And she's like, I'll be careful. Because they were in the same sorority. The other ones, I don't know that they would have run to her first. I think they would have spoken to their bigs or their in their sorority first. They probably would have reported to them. Either way,
yeah,
like you mentioned.
Dylan's big was a lot.
Yeah. And that's her big, yeah. So I'm saying, so they would report it to their bit, like the president basically would have gotten to like the president, or VP, the higher officer in the sorority. But either way, they would have found out just by their chats alone. I mean, we know that they were all chatting in different groups. So
right. So what I want you guys to do is that as we're watching this, I want you guys to fit in the information that we know now that we didn't know then, and how it fits into this timeline that they're putting out here. Okay. So for instance, the things that we know now, sorry, Dylan, did I cut you off? Because I heard you say something, but then I didn't know if you were going to keep going.
Well, I was just going to say, the Emily Lant obviously was reached out to. I think what we're told is not the correct first time that she was reached out to, because I think it was I think you're right. I think you're right on Dylan would have reached out to the big and go from there, but I also think that like the leadership was involved from Ava, who she seems like she'd be the one 2 years graduated still wearing a varsity jacket.
Yeah.
But don't forget though that Lyndon stated something about a 9 a.m. phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And 9-ish or whatever.
Yes, he did. He's the only one that seemed to be closer to the real timeline.
So don't forget. That's what I'm saying. Make sure you guys are inserting these little things we know into this stuff we're getting. So
absolutely.
And there's some other people that were supposed to be there that night. Okay,
Yeah.
don't forget that either. That's kind of important. That Sophia Whitehead was renting out that spare bedroom. Mr. Whitcomb told us Sophie Whitehead, yes.
Yeah,
and she's the one with enhanced breasts.
Yeah, that's the one that Mr. Bangman paid for her to have the surgery to have the enhancement. Yes.
And the room she was renting is like a mattress on the floor that looks like it was
the spare room, the smush room. Yeah, basically. So that was the room, and she was still on the lease for that, from my understanding, or renting it out, I guess.
Maybe it's just a place of business, Dago.
Well, again, that's why I'm pointing it out. Yeah, good point. Keep that in mind. She was not there for whatever reason at that point. Ashlyn Couch was supposed to be there that night and had to dog sit. Lakeland could have stayed there that night and refused to do it. The girl that was at the club with them, Aiden McEntry, didn't come home because something was weird. A whole bunch of people decided not to be there that night.
Barstow could have been there if he wanted to.
Very much so. Okay. And I'm still not 100% positive that there wasn't some form of a party there that night. I'm just saying. Okay. We have no way to prove it, but looking at the house, it tells a different story than what they've told us, is all I'm going to tell you. So keep all those things in mind. Jenna McClure was supposed to be there that night.
Yeah. You see what Accomplished Day said about the delts?
Hold on.
She said, yeah.
Ashlyn was supposed to be there. She was the twins or whatever for the delts. That all ties back to the delts. Road. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. That's kind of why we're doing some of this accomplished. Good point. All right, Dylan. So
I still think Hunter and Emily were there all night long, or at least shortly after things kicked off.
Well, okay, good point. Thank you for saying this, Jesse, because here's why. When the phone call is made to them, okay, who takes off running, sprinting, according to his own words, and got there a full 7 minutes before Emily and Josie did? Hunter Johnson. But Emily and Josie are saying, well, we didn't take it serious. We were joking about it on the way over there. They just kind of strolled over, taking their time. But Hunter sprinted over there because he claimed.
They claim that in the middle of the night, they got up and locked their door because they had a premonition of something bad happening.
They went to bed at 8 o'clock and got up at 2 and stayed up till 4 a.m. What? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, that's a clue that something's up.
Thank you. So, and again, this is why we're fitting all of these things into what we now, as we're watching this video, all these little things we're talking about right now, put those in your mind with this video. Okay. Remember all this stuff.
And by the way, you were pointing at it and made me think about it. You had your little cursor on it. The window right there next to the front door, the one with the red curtain. Yeah. Wasn't that Bethany's room?
No, this is the spare bedroom.
That's a spare bedroom. Okay.
Bethany's room's over here.
Okay, there we go. But that red one had they had some like red tape on there, I think, or whatever. Like they were checking that window out.
Oh, they sealed them off. Yeah. And this is also the room that looked like it was ransacked in some aspect. Or no, Bethany's was. I'm sorry. But this room didn't look the greatest either. The doors looked like they were ripped off the collar. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then this was Xana's bedroom. This here is the living room. This was Kaylee's bedroom. This is the hallway, and then this was the bathroom window over here, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, so all of those things we're talking about here that we're throwing in the mix here, fit those into what they're saying here and put that together in your mind as we go forward. Sorry.
Identified all 4 U of I students. Freshman Ethan Chapin of Conway, Washington, was a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity. Zana Kernodal, a junior from Post Falls, was a member of the Pi Beta Phi sorority. Madison Mogan was a senior from Coeur d'Alene, and Kaylee Gonsalves was a senior from Rathdrum.
This is a pretty traumatic situation for our campus community.
Dean of Students Blaine Eccles says news of the suspected homicide shocked the Vandal community.
This is rocking their world. Many of them come from small communities communities where things like this have never happened.
He says drop-in counseling is available to students at any time, but he recognizes that many students have already returned home early for the upcoming holiday.
People need to navigate through this situation in the way that best suits them. If students need to go home, be closer with their families, want to return home, I support them in doing that. We're going to support them in doing that.
Support for U of I goes beyond the university campus. Businesses throughout the city of Moscow are offering prayers and thoughts for the Vandal community. And because Moscow is a tight-knit community with a strong relationship with the university, this response isn't a surprise to Mayor Art Bedic.
I feel very badly for them, and not just for the victims, but everybody else who's a friend and associate with those people.
He told me he was shocked by the news about what he's calling a senseless act of violence.
This is stuff that shouldn't happen, especially in a small, quiet town like Moscow is, where we're heavily involved with the university. And these are things that affect not just town, but the university, the students, lends everybody to a sense of insecurity about what's going on here and why.
Isn't that the
it's
mayor?
a very tragic.
I'm sorry?
That's the mayor, right?
I do believe so, or was
Yeah.
at that time, yeah.
Yeah, he was chummy with the president, with Scott Green.
Right, and this gentleman is the one that came out and said that this was a
Crime of passion.
Crime of passion. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, and not only that, he's also the one that helped him get the $1 million grant.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So
Good points to remember.
I'm going to jump off here, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank
Take care,
you
Sweet Pea.
very much.
Stay safe out there, Sweet Pea.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, he was the mayor at that point in time. First thing he says was, there's a crime of passion.
No, it wasn't. If you look at what a crime of passion is, you'll see it does not fit. It does not
I
fit
agree.
this at all. Yeah, not at
I
all.
agree, but it makes you wonder why he said what he said at that point. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, because this is when they were building the narrative. This is when they were trying to
Exactly.
get ahead of yeah.
Very good point, dear. Very good point.
And sad situation all around.
In speaking with Kaylee Gonzalez's mother and sister, they tell me Kaylee was a strong and passionate go-getter. She even already had a job lined up in the tech industry after graduation. Kaylee was one of 5 Gonzalez's children. She graduated from Lake.
She already had a job lined up in the tech industry. That was said to us then, okay? Just hold on to that thought about that. That's all I'm saying.
City High School, the same school as Maddie Mogan, another victim. Kaylee's family says the two were especially close, and Maddie was a part of their family as well. Kaylee's oldest sister, Olivia, shared a statement on behalf of the Gonzalez family. It reads in part, Kaylee was, is, and always will be our defender and protector. She is tough and fair, the ultimate middle child. She did absolutely everything she set her mind to. She didn't hold back on love, fights, or life. Kaylee was the ultimate go-getter and constantly wanted an adventure. We still have a lot of questions about what happened. Also looking for answers is Kaylee's family. Kaylee's sister Olivia asked the public to stop spreading rumors about what happened and wait for the facts from police. We are continuing to ask our own questions and will continue to bring you updates as we get them. In the studio, Janelle Finch, CREM 2 News.
Ethan Chapin, his brother and sister, all grew up here together. They went to school here together, and together they enrolled at the University of Idaho. 3 inseparable siblings, now torn apart.
You just couldn't ask for better kids.
Dave Hayton considered Ethan Chapin family, all the Chapin kids actually. He and his wife watched them grow up in their Conway neighborhood. They'd come over for fudgesicles from the basement freezer. When the couple heard what happened, they were crushed.
She's crying. And she says, Ethan's been murdered. Yeah. I just couldn't, you just can't get your head around it.
All 3 siblings attended the Conway School before moving on to Mount Vernon High, where Ethan played on the basketball team and graduated last year. All 3 later decided to attend the University of Idaho. Ethan and his brother were members of the same fraternity.
I know I didn't sleep a lot last night. I'm just thinking of them. We had some good times together.
The Haytons treated the kids like grandchildren. The couple shared these photos from Ethan's mom's Instagram page, this one taken just a few weeks ago at Parents' Weekend. Dave recalls Ethan as smart, athletic, and always respectful. He says all three were great kids, and having one of them gone is inconceivable.
I remember last night I woke up several times and I think, gee, I wish somebody would just tell me this is a bad dream. But unfortunately, it's not a bad dream. It's a reality.
Still no word as to a potential motive in these killings, no word as to a potential suspect. However, authorities in Idaho do say that there is no threat to the public. In Conway, Washington, Eric Wilkinson for KREM 2 News.
How many times did we hear that, you guys? There's no threat to the public. There's no threat to the public. We don't know who did this, but there's no threat to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again. How do you know that to say that? Or do you know that? That's my point. They said it so confidently many, many times in the very, very beginning of this, okay? Very confidently. November 18th is when this was released. So by that point, they're saying there's no threat to the public, guys. No threat to the public. Everything's fine. Trust us, bro. We got it under control, but they had no idea who the fuck did this then.
It's almost like they actually knew who did it right off the cuff.
Thank you. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you.
I was just trying to search AI for a list of books written by the families of murder victims, because the idea that Stacy Chapin, the first thing she wants to do is go and write a book on go on Good Morning America, and when I compare that to, say, Corey Richins, who did the same thing, and Corey Richins is now in prison, right? So,
yep.
And then you have the G family starting and the Chapins are working with Othram and making a lot of money from that, as I understand, and so are the G's, and then you compare that to Xana's family and Maddie's family, who are doing what you'd expect people to do. And I know there's no right way, and I know that I'm treading on thin ice by criticizing their behavior, but their willingness to profit off their children's death after a very short period of time just doesn't sit well with me.
I can agree.
Why is it that the old man in that piece showed more emotion than the Goncalves or the Chapins?
Exactly.
Good question, buddy. Good question.
And it would be one thing if they were just profiting off of, write a book, go on Good Morning America, but the attempt to silence the investigation, the attempt to shape the narrative on top of that, it appears to be shady as hell to me.
It's very questionable at the very least.
And how convenient to put gag orders on everything, just so that nothing could really contend with the narrative that was being placed.
1,000,000%, ma'am.
I'd really like an explanation from the G family about because their breakdown of the 911 call involved Hunter Chapin, and Hunter did this and Hunter did that, and the only way they could, the only excuse for that is if Hunter Johnson, if Hunter Johnson told them, I did this and I did that. So somebody has some explaining to do. Either Hunter Johnson lied to them or they lied to us. Which one is it?
Very good question, sir.
There it is.
Very good question. Welcome, Kat. Thank you for being here today. I was going to say thank you to the mods. I only see Mikey, Moto, Bro. Okay. So welcome, guys. Thank you for being here, taking time out of your Sunday to join us for this one. You guys are appreciated, as everybody is, for joining us for this. Thank you for being here. All right. So all these little things we're talking about here, like I said, slide these things into what we're learning here from the first few days. The first few days, guys, very important days. In any case.
I just want to clarify for people in the chat, because some people probably didn't see the interview with the Gonzalez family and don't know what I'm talking about. So just to be clear, what I'm exactly speaking about is the Gonzalez family had a story that was full of inconsistencies, but the major point was that the reason that Dylan and Bethany called Hunter Chapin was because they attempted to open a locked door, that Ethan and Xana were behind a locked door, and they needed Hunter Chapin to kick that door down to get into the room. That was, and it was very detailed. This Hunter, I keep on calling him Hunter Chapin. There's too many people named Hunter, but Hunter Johnson was called to kick the door down, and very detailed about that story. And of course, we know now that all the doors were open. There was clear view. The victims were seen in clear view. There was nobody was behind a closed door. So, as I said, somebody needs to explain that to me. How did that story get so far from reality?
Agreed, and welcome, Jesse Lynn. I didn't see you, hon. Thank you for being here as well. All of you guys for being here. Truly, Michelle F., welcome. Kawanda said, Stacy also said it only took a couple of months for their family to feel like they were back. Right. They didn't want anything to do with going to the hearings, that they were not going to have anything to do with the trial. Nothing at all. And we didn't hear from them for years, guys, years. They went on, they moved on with their lives. And I respected what they were trying to do. I thought it was easier for them to heal just to walk away from it. That was my theory behind why they were doing it. And they just moved on. Some things were said later on down the road that really had people upset, that now they're referring to their children as twins and not triplets and things like that. I'm not going at them, nor am I attacking them by any means. I'm just bringing things back to the table that we've been told, the things that we've heard that people have questioned, because they're a little bit out there. I'll just put it that way.
That's odd. I don't know anybody that in my life, or anybody that I know personally, that would ever say that about their kid. I had triplets. Unfortunately, one passed away tragically. I would never say that we're just twins, as if the one never existed.
That's can't do that.
Weird. It's
you
weird.
Don't do that. You are correct. That is not. That's just not normal. I'm sorry. It's beyond normal.
It is abnormal. Exactly. It's suspicious. It just makes it brings in controversy because it's not right. In fact, obviously it's subjective. But I think I'm leaning towards the being weird part being pretty real. But I just don't. To say that is just really, really weird. It just doesn't sit right. And I don't.
I'd be willing to overlook all of that. I'd be willing to overlook the fact that they didn't go to any of the court hearings, that they were totally disinterested in the legal proceedings. I would be willing to overlook perhaps the writing of the book and the craving attention on television. But the fact that they could get up and go to CrimeCon, they can't get to the hearings to see the legal proceedings, but they can go to CrimeCon.
There you go.
And the way they say it is, well, we want to move on. We want to move on, so we don't want to go to the legal proceedings, but we'll go to CrimeCon.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense, right?
And then you become very close to one of the elements used to, quote unquote, solve the case or claim to solve the case. Okay. Very early on from what we were told. So there's that too, to add to that mix. Not to mention 2 o'clock. 2 a.m. is a very dark hour. What do you know?
Mm-hmm.
What do you know?
And we know that we hear some really interesting things at 2 o'clock in the 2 o'clock hour.
That's when we hear all the interesting things within the 2 a.m. hour. Yes, ma'am.
That's it. Yep.
Absolutely.
And you know what? That's another thing. I just want to speak to this because it really, really, really bothers me that people are quick to dismiss what is being heard on the 1112 cam and the Linda Lane footage. I know that we have to be careful, of course. I'm not talking about being, a Berean of sorts and double checking everything. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that it's obvious that we've heard things. Very, very obvious. And we can't just play that off as just, the Greek life people having a great time. That was some serious stuff. And we can't be gaslit into going against what our inner, primal alarms are going off, telling us that that's not good. That's not right. That's something suspicious. That's something worth looking into. And then people going, "Oh, we don't listen to that, though. It's not really." Why wouldn't you?
Doesn't it make you suspicious of those people? The people that are like, "Well, those are just regular partying noises."
Yes, it does.
When I hear somebody say that, I think, who paid you to say that?
They're not though. You're right. They're not party noises. I've never heard party noises like that in my life. Sorry.
No, And I've been to parties. Hey, like I mentioned before, I used to go to frat parties. I stayed a frat guy. And I'm telling you, never in my life, no matter how rowdy it got, did I ever hear anything like that. Anything. So I think we all are pretty much on point with that. But the people that keep trying to dismiss it or laugh at it or say, you guys are just hearing stuff. We don't really know. No, we really know. We have it and we've heard it. So stop gaslighting us. It has everything to do with this case.
I can agree with that. Welcome, Vicky. Good to see you today.
Yeah, anybody that says that 227 scream was a party noise.
Lenny Mo, good to see you.
What kind of parties do they go to? That's what I want to know.
What are you saying is not suspicious, Jill? Because if those screams aren't suspicious to you, the way they sounded, the times that it happened, I would just recommend listening to it again because they're not. I partied back in the day. I've never heard a scream like that. There was that blood curdling at any good time I was ever having. So,
and you put it into context with the fact that there's 4 deceased human beings in a nearby home.
Yes,
Couple hours later, you put that add that context to it and tell me those are partying noises. I mean, what's wrong with you?
Bingo. We have to look at the totality of what we're speaking about here. Like you said, context. This isn't some random, camera footage, ring footage that we're listening to here. This is within feet of the house that 4 college students lost their lives in a very brutal manner within that time frame. We know that because we know the way things are adding up, right? So anyhow, the fact is that we have to take that into consideration. You hear them screaming. You hear people asking for help. Help me, please. Help me. Oh, that's fun? That's not fun. Come on now.
She wasn't referring to the screams. She was, Jill was referring to the 2 a.m. Everything bad happened, or 2 a.m. being a dark hour.
So did we just tear a new one for no reason?
Pretty much.
Oh, well, no, I wasn't trying. I was just asking her what she meant when I referred to her because I wasn't sure.
I want to make one point. If we believe that somebody high up in law enforcement or in local politics was called at, let's say, 2 or 3 a.m. or shortly after this crime happened, and that it was covered up by law enforcement and there was cleaners in there cleaning. If you can get to that point where that's what you believe, how much further is it to get to the point where I'm at, where I'm entertaining the theory that Pav laid out? Mm-hmm. Because to me, once you go down that path, you get to a point where the only way to you can't explain this crime by taking anything at face value. The only way you can explain it is through conspiracy theories, things that come across as a little bit out there. But I mean, I find it very difficult to take anybody involved in this case at face value, especially when you watch them behave outside the way that you would expect them to behave. For example, Cy Ray, the way he's appearing on all these shows. People say he's selling his book, he's promoting himself. I don't view it as promoting himself. I view it as attaching himself to a shameful crime that if he doesn't have an agenda to influence the outcome, then he's just making himself look foolish and hurting his reputation for no reason, because he could just go out there and offer a lot more milquetoast opinions and just get his face out there and not make himself look foolish. But he's choosing to tiptoe the line and putting his ass out there. I really don't see him doing that without having a hidden agenda, let's say. And it could be a negative one or a positive one, but he's up to something greater than just selling his book and trying to get in good with law enforcement, in my opinion.
That's just something weird there.
Good point.
Yeah, I just want to finish my original thought. If you think that 237 scream was a party scream, you need to be investigated by the FBI.
Yeah.
And don't invite me to any of your parties.
Thank you.
Right.
What kind of parties you go to if you don't think? Come on now. I mean, I don't even know.
So one more thing. Interesting video from Harsh. I don't know if it was last night or this morning, but he said that he was in constant communication with Cy and Carrie, all right? Talking
Right.
about his upcoming book, and they were offering him a copy of the book, and he details the conversations they were having, and Harsh was sniffing out. Cy was giving him this kind of speech that we've been hearing on all the recent interviews from Cy. And Harsh was able to sniff it out. Harsh is a pretty sharp guy. He's like,
Right.
yeah, well, you now, and he put it right on him. He said, and this is what I've been saying for the past week, is he's implying these things. He's not actually saying anything. In fact, if you really look at his comments, I think you'll find that the most definitive statement he's made is that law enforcement did Brian dirty and Brian deserves a trial. And then he goes on to imply, but I think he's guilty, but I think I can put him in the house. But he doesn't really unequivocally state any of those things. He loosely implies them without providing any details, or not enough details, not conclusive facts. And Harsh says that he put it right on Cy Ray. So just to clear things up, I want a definitive answer. Do you actually believe that Brian is guilty and committed this crime? And he said that he never heard back. He was in constant communication with them. They were negotiating, getting him to sign an NDA and everything. And after he put it on him like that, he never heard back.
That's an interesting, quite an interesting point. Do you not think?
Well, and I think that's maybe why he canceled his show with Lana, is because, I mean, maybe he can't answer that direct question. If you put it right on him, and you make him quit you tell him, listen, quit dancing around your words. I want you to state unequivocally. Don't imply. You've been doing a lot of implying. Please tell me exactly what you're trying to say here in plain language. And I think Lana would do that to him, and he had no interest in that.
I fully agree with that. There was no way that, and nothing against the custody queens. I think they did the best they could do with their situation. Considering, I said, but there's no way Lana would have let him slip by saying the things he was saying without definitely going more in detail into it and explaining those things, truly and honestly, in my opinion.
Jill Avery says Cy has seen evidence that we have not. Well, like I said, if you listen to what he's saying, he's implying, he's saying he's seen evidence that may put him at the scene, and he uses. Go back and watch those interviews.
If Cy basically said if they would have used the technology they had and dug a little deeper, that they could have put Brian inside that house. Those were the statements I remember hearing him saying.
Well, what I'm saying is he's using qualifying words like may have, could have, I believe, I believe, may have, could have, and legally you have to strip away those qualifying words, and I'm not sure that he's actually stated anything without qualifying it first.
That sounds very all opinion and speculation to me.
The problem is if you're going to make a statement like this, okay, that you claim that you have seen evidence that we have not, and I can respect that. I'm sure he may possibly have, and you're going to come out and speak on it, then you need to show it. Okay, just show a receipt so that people will shut up and they won't say anything to you, but he won't do it, whether it's because he can't do it. Okay, fine. If that's the case, then don't speak on it, sir. That's my problem with that whole thing. Thank you, Kawanda, very much. My honest opinion, I think Sly has some secret op going on. He's personally close to Lana. I don't think he wanted to use her like he used that. I mean, that's a good point too, Kawanda. There's a different level of respect there because they do know each other. They've spoken many, many times. So yeah, I can understand and agree with what you're saying with that. That does make some sense.
She called his nicknames, called him Sly, like I call him Sly. I call him Sly Ray.
Sly Blu-ray, Sly Prey, yes, and because thank you, Kawanda, for that. I forgot about our friend Manny here, so thank you again for that. Appreciate that towards our goal today. Very much appreciated. All right, Dylan. Appreciate you, buddy.
So if Cy Ray married the Australian Olympic breakdancer Ray Gunn, what would her name become?
Ray.
Let's set that up.
That was good, buddy. I like that. Thanks, Mark V. Appreciate you for being here, buddy. That's kind of my feelings on it, honestly. That's all I'm saying. Take care, Dylan. Thanks for joining us, buddy. All right, guys, on we go. Again, don't forget the point here. All the things we know now, all the things we've learned over the past few months here. Slide these things into this from 4 years ago almost. What we were being told at that point is what kind of the point here. So
we've watched this memorial grow all day long. Students dropping off flowers and stuffed animals, remembering the 4 young lives that were lost. And there's still a lot of unanswered questions tonight, like how this happened and why.
Like, it's all just shocking and scary. Like, I never would have thought that this would have happened here.
Tonight, yellow crime tape still surrounds the house where 4 young college students were found dead over the weekend, a crime shocking the University of Idaho community. Classes were canceled today, and some students have decided to go on Thanksgiving break early.
A lot of people left last night, and then we were like, I know we were like one of the only ones who actually stayed here last night. My mom has called me every single hour for since 7 a.m. this morning. So yeah, they want me to come home if I don't feel safe.
Moscow police have not said much about what exactly happened, but they have released the names of the victims. 2 of them, Zana Kernodle, a junior from Post Falls, and Madison Mogan, a senior from Coeur d'Alene, were servers at the Mad Greek restaurant in downtown Moscow. The restaurant posted on Facebook saying the 2 brought so much joy to the restaurant and all they encountered. Mad Greek is now closed, giving staff time to grieve along with the rest of the community. And the university is planning a vigil for the victims. That's taking place at 5 p.m. on Wednesday on the lawn outside the administration building. In Moscow, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Hey, Dago.
yes, sir.
Accomplished Day had an interesting comment that's probably worth sharing about the Amazon docs. I can try and read it if you can't find it, but
right there.
Yes.
Jill Avery. I don't like conspiracies. I state only facts. None of the items on in his Amazon activity list ever got to the confirmed purchase page except for the sharpener. That is very true. That is a very good point and something that needs to be taken into consideration, considering what they forced down our throat about that. Good point, accomplished, and thank you for making that statement, as always. We got to see it for what it is, guys, and that's something I think that's kind of important, truly and honestly, because what were we told about the Amazon stuff, you guys?
Yeah, it looked. I'm not an expert, and I just saw pages and pages full of. He looked at this. He clicked on this. He was shown this. This went into the cart. I don't want to see any of that shit. I want to see this was delivered to his house and he signed for it. That's all I want to see.
And
I didn't see that.
He purchased it. Correct.
I didn't see that.
They never showed us any of that. All we've ever asked for was one receipt showing Brian Koberger himself purchased everything they said he did. So no, instead they went and bought it themselves. They never showed us the receipt that he did it. None of that. And like she said, the only thing that ever made it into his cart, I think to a finale purchase or whatever you want to call that, a final purchase. I said finale. That was dumb. Was that sharpener. So there you go.
And
that is why I want the receipt.
Makes sense that after the crime happened, anybody that's interested in true crime would be looking for the murder. We did hear Kathy Mabbitt speak on the injuries, and we knew that they were stabbing deaths. I mean, he might have been researching the crime. I mean, I think a lot of people. I think we were doing it on this channel, looking at K-bars and looking at them, bringing up Amazon ads on your show and putting it up on the screen and saying this is what a K-bar looks like.
You are absolutely correct, my friend. Absolutely. Moving forward.
Well, the Moscow Police Department hasn't added any new information since they released a press release this morning about the homicide investigation. But a few hours ago, we did speak with the Latah County coroner. Kathy Mabbitt is calling all four deaths homicides, and that the cause of death is likely a stabbing. But we won't know that for certain until the autopsy report comes back and she can make that official ruling. Now, to take that a step further, Latah County contracts its autopsies out to the Spokane County Medical Examiner. And I confirmed this afternoon that Spokane County is in fact conducting the autopsies on the 4 University of Idaho students. Now, the Spokane County spokesperson says the medical examiner has not yet started those autopsies. Once they are done, the medical examiner will forward her recommended findings to the Latah County coroner. Then the Moscow Police Department or the Latah County coroner will release the official ruling. Now, this afternoon, when we talked to the coroner, she described a gruesome crime scene.
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene.
Mabbitt adds that she does not believe the toxicology report on each of the 4 University of Idaho students will be relevant to the manner or cause of death. Now, Mabbitt has been the county coroner for 16 years in Latah County. She says in that time, there have been at least 2 other multiple homicide scenes that she's been involved in. But she says this current homicide investigation is the only one she's been to where there are 4 people at one scene. Now, we are continuing to press local authorities like the Moscow Police Department, as well as the Latah County prosecutor. I have made multiple calls into their offices yesterday and today, have not got a call returned from either agencies. Now, we know there are University of Idaho students, their families, and the greater Moscow community, many of which are still concerned for their safety, even though the police department says there is no active threat to the community. So that is why we remain here in Moscow pressing for answers. And once we do get those, we'll continue to keep you updated. Reporting in Moscow, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
2 of the 4 University of Idaho students who died on Sunday, Xana and Maddie, both worked here at Mad Creek Restaurant. The restaurant has closed its doors for now, and they have also put out a memorial for all 4 of those students.
Tucked inside a Main Street restaurant bench is a memorial catching the community's attention, including Annalise Mitchell. She's a sophomore at University of Idaho.
I just wanted to kind of take a moment to remember them.
Annalise is one of many students struggling to process the death of 4 fellow classmates.
It's been surreal, devastating, horrific, honestly.
Annalise knew the 4 students from the university's Greek life.
When I did talk to them, they were just nothing but kind and nothing but bright and positive, and they definitely made an impact on everyone that they've met.
Now, as classes resume today, many students are leaving campus.
People can't even focus on their schoolwork. Like my sisters and I, we've tried to do our homework and it's not possible.
Annalise says for her friends that are still here, she's just being supportive.
Nothing will be the same. At least we're all here for each other and just remembering.
But that community doesn't take away the pain.
I'm just angry, honestly, because again, it's 4 people. It's 4 people that have touched so many lives and have touched my friends, and to see them in such grief and suffering, it just makes me angry.
In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
It's not something you ever expect to hear.
Through the tears and shock, Jim and Stacy Chapin described the moment they found out their son Ethan was gone.
It's not a call that you think that you're going to have to speak with the funeral home directors and the FBI and have it hit national news.
Earlier this week, Moscow police identified Chapin as one of the 4 victims killed in the home just off campus. Stacy and Jim said their son was staying with his girlfriend at the house, who was also killed, Xana Kernodle. So far, police haven't released many details about the investigation, and as questions mount, the Chapins say they wanted to make sure Ethan's story was told.
It's important for us to get Ethan's story out. We don't really want anybody else representing him. And it's hard to have people speaking on his behalf. So we think it's best for us to do this.
He's the kind of kid that everybody wanted to be around. You know, he was just a good kid.
He's a good kid,
that
kind to all.
didn't deserve what happened.
No.
They say Ethan was a triplet. He and his siblings were extremely close. In fact, they all decided to attend the University of Idaho. Jim says Ethan was an athletic kid who played club soccer and refereed youth sports. His smile, he says, lit up a room, and he made friends wherever he went. They had just spent last weekend at the university for Parents' Weekend.
And as we pulled out of Moscow, we literally were like, we've done it. We've literally done it as parents. We've created 3 incredible humans that will go on and have something great to offer to this world. Honestly, all 3 of them.
A week later, as they grapple with this horrific loss, they say they're determined to keep moving forward for Ethan.
But we will not let this sink us or sink our kids, because if anything, they have to go on and shine Ethan's bright light on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Moscow Police Chief James Fry, University of Idaho President Scott Green, and the Director of Idaho State Police, Colonel Kendrick Wills, all spoke at today's press conference. Before Wednesday's press conference, Moscow Police had only told the public the 4 students were found dead inside the home late Sunday morning. Wednesday, they revealed that all 4 victims were stabbed to death. Chief Fry says 2 other roommates were at the home during the attack, but were not injured, and he is not calling them witnesses. He said they were also home when police arrived at the house. Fry did not say why the call to police was not until noon on Sunday, when the attack happened in the early morning hours. Police said it appeared to be a targeted attack, but did not explain why. Moscow police have also been saying that they do not believe there is an ongoing threat to the community. But today, the tone changed. Police say the search for a suspect continues and people should look out for each other. Meantime, we found this video from a Moscow food truck that's from early Sunday morning. It shows 2 of the students, Kaylee and Maddie, ordering food around 1:40 a.m. This is one of the last times they were seen. Moscow police say this video is helping investigators recreate a timeline of events from that night.
And it has helped. It gives us a time and space where we know that 2 of our victims were, and that helps us a ton, and we'll continue to follow up all leads that we can.
The family of Kaylee Gonsalves have seen the video and agreed to let us publish it. They identified Maddie Mogan wearing the long black jacket and Kaylee, who is with her, in the white sweatshirt.
It's normally a place where everyone feels really safe.
Joseph Woodall is the manager of the grub truck. He is seen in the video working the cash register, taking the girl's order. This afternoon, he described their interaction with me.
One of the blondes was just a little bit more cheery and kind of bouncing around a little bit more. And then one was like standing there and doing the hello, how are you? And goes through the interactions. And normally that's pretty normal. In most of our groups, there's people that are more energetic and people that are managing the energetic people.
Joseph told me he felt incredibly sad when he learned the news about the girls he had just seen the other night.
Hope they find the person. Hope they get the person.
Definitely a somber.
All right. Anybody have anything to add in between this before we go forward? Yeah. I don't want to get too far into it before we go forward.
I don't know if anybody has any info on the Mad Greek, but I do remember early on, and I never really got involved in this. I remember hearing people say it. There was never any real, as far as I remember, there wasn't any real concrete proof, but there was a lot of people talking about the owners of the Mad Greek, how much money they had, where their money was coming from, and them potentially being sort of a criminal element to them. And like I say, I have no idea if any of that was based on reality, but I find it interesting. And looking at the Mad Greek, looking at the restaurant, and everything I had heard about the Mad Greek led me to believe that it's a popular place. And as I've never been to Moscow myself, but from what I've heard, there isn't a lot of places. So the few places that they have servicing Pullman and Moscow, a successful restaurant. Why would you want to pick up sticks and leave? I think it's odd that it's closed.
Well, they came out and made a statement. We just talked about this last night, actually. They came out and made a statement when some of this shit hit the fan and said that something's not right. Something's not wrong. There's some truth that's being dismissed. Some things that is just off with this. And very interestingly enough, not too long after that, they were closed.
Well,
So-
and I find that kind of suspicious, right? Because
I agree.
I don't think this crime was going to hurt their business.
Not at all. Not at all. And Brian, that was when the Barnyards tried to claim that he had been there, so on and so forth. Brian was never there. They said he wasn't there. The owners of the place, the people that worked there, said he's never been there. Okay. And they were trying to push the fact that Brian had been in there to force a connection that didn't exist. The only thing ever happened was Brian went looking for vegan food and it popped up on his results. That's the closest thing he got to be in there. So again, like I said, after that, they come forward saying something's not right with this case. There's some truth that's missed, blah, blah, blah. And then they're conveniently closed. And I got to wonder, is it because their establishment license was revoked from the city? Something like that. You know what I mean? Because they didn't follow the narrative, Jesse.
All those rumors of Brian being a creep around women. The only video footage we've ever seen of Brian having a conversation with a woman, and it sounded like she was all about him, practically begging him to get a phone number. Or I don't even know how I would describe that. But all I can say is she talked to him for 20 odd minutes, and she seemed really interested in the conversation. And certainly, that woman was not calling him a creep. And that's the only video footage we've seen.
I mean,
at
not
the DMV.
The DMV.
Yeah, she was quite into him, whether it was just as for friendly purposes or for more interest in that, but she was certainly into the conversation.
Yeah, she wasn't. She didn't think anything was weird about it at all. Actually, there was an interview with her, and she's like, "I'm married and everything, so I'm just really friendly with people." But he was, we were talking about, all kinds of stuff, and yeah, he didn't seem weird to me. Like, she didn't say that he seemed weird at all. Like, so
I think anybody who's weird would have cut that conversation off.
For sure.
I mean, even the willingness to speak to somebody at the DMV for that long in such a manner shows that you're pretty good socially, let's say.
Absolutely. And he seemed respectful, very respectful, and inquisitive. Here's the thing, Brian is from what I've been able to observe, he's a very inquisitive guy, a very curious person. He's an intellectual person. He's very, very intelligent, and intelligent people do tend to ask a lot of questions. So, I think that, people get that mistaken with, like he thinks he's better than everybody, I mean, even when it comes down to, when he was pulled over by that female cop and he's asking questions about the law, and he's like, when I'm from Pennsylvania and we do this all the time, so I just want to know, like, is that a law here and why is it a law? Like, he's just trying to get a better understanding. And I remember when that happened, and I made the case for it because I'm in the tri-state area. So, I know, I'm like, yeah, I could vouch for that. We do it here in New Jersey. Like, we'll go out into, like, if there's one person and it's a red light, a green light, they're getting ready to make a left-hand turn, and we inch out and we get right behind them so that we can make a turn, like in the middle of the intersection. We do that all the time. I don't know if there's a law here about it, but we do it in Jersey all the time. So he probably didn't even look into it, Washington. So again,
he didn't know.
Yeah,
right.
He didn't. He was really quiet, but they're trying to make it that into something it wasn't. Trying to make it seem like he was being aggressive and blah blah. So yeah, I think it was like
everything
ridiculous.
that has anything. Yes, absolutely. Realize anything that pertains to Brian, they have turned it upside down, and crooked to make it work for them. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And because people don't know any better, or people are just kind of happen upon it, or they're just kind of waiting to make connections, some people are readily taking that as gospel, and it's just not.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is correct. Very good points, guys, as always. Moving on.
Mood at tonight's game, quite a few empty seats in the student section as well. A lot of them have gone home early for Thanksgiving break, but we talked to students that decided to stick around. They were at tonight's game and they told us they were happy the university didn't cancel this, gave them a chance to see some of their friends, classmates, and somewhat sense of normalcy. A lot of them telling us they won't feel entirely safe on campus until this murderer is caught.
Basketball fans, this time, we ask that you please stand and join us in a moment of silence for the 4 University of Idaho students that were tragically taken from us on Sunday.
The names of the 4 students found murdered inside a home near campus were read aloud before tonight's game. The Moscow community still in shock.
Definitely like a ghost town here. Weird seeing everyone just pack up and leave.
Like many other students, Jessica Jacobs and Asha Cummings haven't been going to class and say they don't feel as safe alone or on campus as they did a week ago.
The only reason we're still here is because we had a little trip planned going opposite of our homes, but we've been staying together every night, trying to stay as safe as we can, but we definitely aren't going to go home early.
A question of safety is on everyone's mind right now.
During a press conference this afternoon, University of Idaho officials said they've increased campus patrols and students can request a security escort across campus day or night. The university is also excusing all absences.
That if they want to leave and go home now, they absolutely can. We're going to support them in doing so.
Classes were canceled the day after the 4 bodies were found, but resumed on Tuesday. School officials say some students want to keep their minds occupied.
They gain comfort in being around their other students. They gain comfort from interacting and staying busy with their faculty.
I'm happy they're still doing it, and we're here to support our teams, so we're happy to be here. Lucky that we still get to come to this and feel safe here.
And the university has postponed a candlelight vigil until after Thanksgiving break in order to give as many students that want to attend the opportunity to. That's scheduled for sometime on November 30th. In Moscow, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
The Spokane County Medical Examiner finished the autopsies yesterday and sent them over to the Latah County Coroner. With that, the coroner sent out this. You can see here at the bottom of the document, cause of death, homicide, murder, and manner of death is stabbing. Moscow PD says whoever did this used a large knife. We also learned yesterday Idaho State Police say investigators think the killer got in the house through the sliding glass door. ISP says the forensic team is taking another look at the house to make sure they didn't miss any details.
We intend to come out and solicit information from the public if they are within certain areas that we believe are of interest for this investigation. And so hopefully today or early tomorrow, we will come out with a map where the victims were at specific times during the night and ultimately ending at their residence.
The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit is now helping in the investigation. They do crime analysis, create suspect profiles, and help with interview strategies. ISP says an FBI command vehicle is on its way to bring Moscow up more resources. As for the other 2 roommates who were home during the attack, ISP says they are cooperating with investigators. They are not suspects or persons of interest as of now, but ISP says nobody is clear from the investigation yet. In the newsroom, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Earlier this evening, the University of Idaho released a statement urging students to be vigilant. For those that are still here, security will increase over this weekend. Moscow police.
Nothing to worry about, though, Jess. Realize, nothing to worry about. The shelter in place was released. There's nothing to worry about. Nobody's in custody, but there's nothing to worry about, guys. Trust them.
Yeah, nothing's here. Nothing's
Trust
here.
them.
Nothing to see here. Yeah, everything's normal.
But they're amping
The
up
best
security.
example of that
They're telling
was-
people to walk hand in hand with other people. They're amping up security. They're adding extra police into the area, but there's nothing to worry about, you guys.
That's what I call sleight of hand.
The best example was Fry's interview in his office when he says, I can't tell you why we believe that. You're just going to have to trust me.
Thank you.
I
Thank
remember when
you.
you said that. Yep.
Welcome, Bubbles. Yes, very good point.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of when they talk back in this period of time, it's like watching and listening to Charlie Brown's teacher talk. You know,
Right after I'm done interrogating the G's over how they described the 911 call, I want to interrogate Fry and tell him, I want to know exactly what you meant when you said that.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely, sir.
Most
Moving
definitely.
on. Thank you, G. Good to see you,
We
Chief.
have ways to make you talk, Mr. Fry.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Mood Ring. We know what's right and wrong with you. Captain Jenks, good to see you, brother. I hope you're here later, Captain. We're going to jump into some conspiracy stuff. I think you might like it. Anyway, but yeah, 100%. You can always tell when Chief Fry was not happy with a comment that was made or a question that was asked or a situation alone. The man would turn 3 different colors.
He
He was,
got red real fast. His cheeks, his ears.
yeah. Why are
Yeah.
you so uncomfortable? Just answer the question. If you know what you're saying and you know it's the truth, you shouldn't have any problems with that. in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Right, Witchy. Trust us, bro, has no fucking business being in this case at all, much less this often from so many people. Amen to that one. Good to see you, buddy. On we go.
Say patrols have also ramped up around the community. The school district says patrols will monitor the area around its schools. Idaho State Patrol is helping with this extra police presence. People I spoke with in the community today are less concerned about their own safety and more focused on making sure the suspect or suspects are found.
In your 70 years of living in this area, would you ever have thought that something like that could happen?
No, really. No.
I definitely was shocked and a little scared, but at the same time, I do have a feeling that the person who did this was somebody that they knew. And so I wasn't personally afraid.
This morning, I noticed quite a few more law enforcement just out and about. I'm really grateful.
How many people have said that, Jess? You remember way back when? How many people have said that this is a stranger saying this? I believe it's somebody that knew them.
Well, like I've said this many times that statistically, people get murdered over sex, drugs, and money, or there's a few different jealousy. There's a few handful of reasons, and you have to know somebody to have the connection for those reasons. And
Yes,
Brian
sir.
Koberger doesn't fit that mold.
No,
The
not even.
lone killer, or the what do they
Outsider.
call it again?
The
Yeah,
incel?
that is just statistically highly improbable, like a complete anomaly.
They truly created this whole persona of this entire thing, you guys, as we're seeing. They did not want anybody to think about it being somebody close to them or within this area. We all know that at this point. You need to set up the membership gifting in your money button. It is in there, Cap. It should be down there. You should be able to click on it for that. Most everybody, I don't know about the iPhone thing. I know I've been having people having problems with that. I can't get it to do anything any different than it does, though. I'm gonna have to look into that again and see if I can find a difference of it with it or for it. Sorry. I will.
Additionally, they've covered up all the victimology that would give us clues to the motive. So,
Yeah,
so
right.
anything that would go to motive, like all the drugs, sex, relationships, they've gone to great lengths to bury that and tried to shame us to not talk about it.
Yes. You are correct, sir. Great lengths, Jesse. Great lengths.
And
Welcome, Kane.
if you look at the nature of what we know now, we got the autopsy reports. We were able to read about the type of injuries they sustained. You know, if you look into that, you'll see that this was very personal. And there are things that indicate that in many ways, and amongst rage, you know, and things of that nature. But you know, stabbing, slashing, getting up close and personal with a sharp object usually is a very personal thing. I mean, aside from people being crazy on this, you know, out there, you know, in the world and cities and random people that are maybe not, you know, mentally okay, you know, or all there that do things at random. Typically, this is usually a very personal type of thing. And so, you know, it already points that way already. So,
Right.
you know, so we know that also that there was more than one now that, you know, from these reports, she mentioned it was a sharp, large, sharp object or sharp knife. Now we know that there was at least 2 different ones that were used because of the way
they actually
the
pointed
wounds.
out that there were 5 5 weapon profiles that were put there.
There
So
you go. At least 2 different types of blades, at least, you know, and then for
yes,
whatever else the other things are. Yeah. So I mean, we already know that.
serrated, serrated blades.
Yeah.
What Brian was looking at wasn't even serrated at most
No.
of the point, so on and so forth.
Exactly.
100%.
Mhm.
100%. So yeah, and again, like I
and now
said,
that-
everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that now that we find out about the drug use that we had always suspected, the cocaine use, which would lead us to believe that Dave talking about dealing out of the house, well, that was probably true. And then all the sexual stuff, the different relationships, the different sexual partners, for all that to just be coincidental, it strains credulity.
Very good
Absolutely.
point. Thank you, Sky Blue. Yeah, we did a reaction video to her the other day. It wasn't very nice. She's horrible, and nobody that takes any of her classes likes her. So anything she says to me is there's no credibility to her at all, in my opinion. None, absolutely none.
I
She's a
mean,
joke.
thinking back on it, she could even be the sole reason that Brian's in this mess.
I'm telling
She-
you, yes, thank you for saying it, because I think
she seems like the kind of psychopath that would phone the cops the next day, right after this happened, phone the tip line and just say, "Yeah, I've got this student that he's misogynist and he's homophobic, and I just know he's a predator." You know
And
what I mean?
wait, you
Yeah.
forgot, and he's a white man. So come on now.
Yeah, he's a
He
white
is a
guy,
white
too.
man. Yes, he is.
I'm telling you
I'm
guys,
going to
I
plead
have
the fifth on all that stuff from now on.
we're not going to get into that at all today, but I feel like it's very, 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 like, probably 80% possible that she was the tip that made them look at him. I swear to God. And after everything I've seen from her at this point, I could almost guarantee it. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, the way she was speaking, she spoke in absolute terms that she could see the future, and he was going to be a predator that would sexually assault students and take advantage of the female students. Which, when asked about the evidence of this, and it sounded to me like the cops that were interviewing her were wise to her game too. Like, they kept on asking her all the right. That was one of the best interviews that I've seen in this whole case, from the perspective of the cops asking the right questions, because they were just, you could sort of see the look on their face, like,
Yeah.
what did you
what did you just say?
and how did you come up with that? Like,
Yes. Yeah, and she's all about herself, guys. This woman is a joke, completely. So,
No, you have a point, Jesse. I wanted to bring something up. It's just right on the tip of my mind. Is, if you remember the narrative of the Idaho Correctional Institution inmate was interviewed by FBI, and Ryan O'Neill, is that ringing bells? Not the actor. Made numerous claims.
Yeah, Ryan O'Neill.
That he was basically the security guard at the house, and people would bring things coming and going. He never knew what they were, but understood that they were illegal.
Was that Farley who said that?
Negative. It's redacted, so I don't know. We can't say for sure.
I was thinking of that, Kane. I was thinking of this just right after that interview about the cocaine came out. That interview where this guy's saying he's sitting in a car. I think he claimed to be armed and providing security for people in the house. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
You're
exactly
talking
right.
about the Farley statement was different from that other one that Kane's talking about, but yeah.
I think some people might speculate that was Farley, though. That, like Kane's saying, we don't know who it was because it was redacted, but I think I've heard somebody speculate that it was either Farley or Farley was with those guys.
Farley.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Isn't that a car parked out front was supposed to, as I understand it, Slocum and Gill and Farley and those characters, right? Is that and maybe Mowich? Is that?
Well, yes, but what I think Kane's talking about is that one of the security guards that was watching the house after the crimes happened, that was be sitting in front of the house in the car. Is that what you're referring to, Kane?
No, negative. This is what is the date on this?
Yeah, I don't think he's talking about a security guard. I think he's talking about like a drug dealer.
This guy,
Not
well,
doing security.
so it's redacted, but FBI Special Agent Ryan O'Neill. And let me just rewind this because it'll have the date here.
Oh, while you're looking at that, let me make this statement because this is a truth right here. Dr. or Professor Pednault interviewed less than 5 hours after Brian was ID'd. Now you explain that to me.
That's fresh.
That is why I think it's very possible.
I mean, she wouldn't have time unless she was sitting there waiting for the news to come out. Yeah, she wouldn't have had time. She would have had to have been on their radar,
exactly,
even to set up the interview. Like, if she was interviewed, that means the interview was set up hours earlier, right?
She was willing to basically, what is your thesis, block him 2 years in advance, where you had people that were like, well, I don't know that he was literally really stalking this lady. Are you sure about that? You know, people that were kind of keeping her from her rampage on his ass.
Everything she stated was hearsay. They asked her multiple times, did you ever interact with this? Did you ever see this? Did this ever happen with you? Never. It was all something that was hearsay, and it's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, you have two big things about it. One is she chases him down in the parking lot for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't want to be around somebody, if somebody's psycho, you're like, Brian, come over here and sign my autograph book. I didn't see you in 3 hours.
She waved at him nonstop until trying to get him to acknowledge, and he didn't. And if you dislike him so bad, why are you waving at him? Honestly, truly, why are you waving at him? If you dislike him so bad, you're a liar. That's why.
I think she described exactly what she didn't like about him. He was the color of his skin, his gender, and his self-confidence. She despises all those things.
Anything gentrific that's giving him some T cells.
I think she was threatened by him.
Now, another thing is that they're claiming in the WSC thing that these other students had complaints against them, like, what was it, Brett Norton and all these other people that never went to WSU. They went to the colleges around there. They went to the junior college, but they were never students at WSU. And
right.
So the perpetuation of unreality continues.
Thank you. Good point.
And yeah.
People say they're thankful Moscow PD are calling on the necessary agencies to help protect the community and figure out what exactly happened on Sunday. In a press conference yesterday, we learned from the Moscow Police Chief, James Fry, that the department has called on 25 investigators, the state police, and FBI to assist in solving this case. The Moscow Police Department maintains that this was a targeted attack. For that reason, the people I spoke to say they don't personally feel a threat in the community. But like said, the University of Idaho is reminding people here to remain vigilant and provide any and all information you can to Moscow police. In Moscow, Janelle Finch, Crime 2 News.
People across the country want to know what happened inside this home and why. For those living in Moscow, there's still a lot of fear and uncertainty. And how could there not be? 4 young college students were stabbed to death, and their killer still hasn't been caught. Ever since the yellow crime tape went up, the Moscow Police Department has faced scrutiny for not providing as much information about the case as some would like to know.
You know, there's some things that only the people that were at that scene would know. And so you definitely don't want to release that information to the public.
Gary Jenkins is the former chief of Pullman Police and now serves in that role for the WSU Police Department. He says sharing details is a balancing act, keeping people safe and informed without compromising the investigation.
Just trying to make sure that when detectives go out and interview people, it's based on what they know, not what they've heard on the news.
The University of Idaho told students this week they could go home early for Thanksgiving break if they didn't feel safe around campus, and many already have. Jenkins says that could pose a challenge for detectives trying to interview witnesses. It was for him during the hazing death of Sam Martinez, which also occurred right before Thanksgiving break in 2019.
Most of the witnesses left town, and that's the type of investigation you need to have a one-on-one in-person interview. And so it does definitely complicate that investigation.
Jenkins says the answers all of us want could take time.
They're trying to juggle a lot of balls in the air right now, particularly with 4 victims. It's going to be a very complex crime scene. It's going to be a complex investigation.
Hold on, Dago, turn it off.
New detail.
That
sorry?
The angle of the dumpster. That was a great. Haven't you seen that video of the dumpster raid and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Rosenthal was doing his war. Maybe we can see what the heck that they were pulling out of there that they were running away with that was so good. I don't know. I've never seen that angle before.
I don't know that.
Definitely complicate that investigation.
I mean, I've seen it. I
Jenkins
just
says the
not what I was
answers all of
thinking
us
about it.
want.
Right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's as full as it got. It got a little fuller than that, right? So this is
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah, there were people walking back and forth in that dumpster that day like crazy, taking things away, adding things to it. It was weird. And not one time did they say, Warner was standing at the door and said, interesting, but never said a fucking word to him. Are you kidding me?
Well, they had the tree. Okay, so I know this is probably earlier because they had the triage set up where those 2 people are walking right now.
Yeah, good point. But the trailer's there too, so.
Oh, it is. It's across. Oh, it looks like it's further back from the other angle. Wow, good eye,
Yeah.
good eye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like, don't they get it? The dumpster's full, dude. Find other place for it. They're just putting stuff on top.
Ridiculous.
Oh, look, I mean, I can understand a college town. Maybe somebody's throwing away some pillows or a cashmere suit or something, and oh look, better get out of here. And then you see the cops walk up to them as they're taking something. I just thought it was interesting. Well, thank you.
That night, this guy right here, Lanier, was standing at the door and said, I'm going to go look at this dumpster. Walks over there for, I don't know, 6 minutes, realizes that it's like this, and comes right back. Didn't find nothing. Couldn't look at it. Was pitch dark out. I mean, it was one of the dumbest shit things I've ever seen. So, yeah.
I wonder if it's normal, like, for that type of weekend, I guess. I mean, they have football all the time, but that was a particular special weekend, I guess. If that.
It was
the
their last
dumpsters
home
look
game,
like
I
that.
believe.
Yeah. I wonder if that was like normal for the dumpsters to look like that. I mean, I get it.
I mean,
Well, you had
the garbage bill.
Invest Idaho or whatever that thing going on to bring in students from high schools, and then you had the big party at 1122 the night before. You probably had all those apartments probably dumping that one thing. And so if you figure if you have a kitchen sized trash bag times 100 apartments,
Yeah. But
There
there's
should be
not
at least
one
3
dumpster.
dumpsters. 3
right?
dumpsters.
There's one here
That's
and
what I'm
one
saying.
there, but split it up 50 apartments. That's
ridiculous.
normal.
But you know what, too? And then, so that this is where I'm coming up, like, for a point here, is that didn't they say that it was so quiet that night? Nobody was doing anything because everybody went to bed by 8:00.
If they weren't in bed by 8, they were in bed by 10.
Exactly. So, and then now look at the dumpsters. That tells me a different story.
I mean, if you really want to think about it, you can listen to Dylan whining from pretty much like 1:32 a.m. on right well into the afternoon. Just never stops. It's like, oh man.
What about the Linda Lane camera and another camera showing? I think there's 2 different, not dumpsters, but just trash cans with people walking up with a cigarette and putting something in the trash can, taking. I mean, it looks like somebody's. It looks like a drop off, pick up drop off.
Oh, it sure does. Yeah, like that looked really. Yeah, absolutely. It looks.
But wasn't that 2 separate trash cans at 2 separate locations?
Yes,
on
there's
2 separate
one
cameras?
there's one that's down here further, coming down the hill. That's down more towards the corner of the between 1112 and 1122, I believe. There's one across the street from it as well, and I think there's another one up. If you go down on Linda Lane, down around where that bend is to pull into the parking lot down there, I believe.
And has anybody offered an explanation for that? Because it's kind of another one of those things that how could that be just a coincidence?
Right. No, I agree.
There's even the guy who walks around the house. Sorry, Jake's. that takes the little baggie out of the window, from the shadow guy in the window. You know what I'm talking about, right? So the zooming live I did. And he's the guy who walks around the house. Then he goes to the dumpster. It's the same dude. He's wearing the same thing. And it's a good point that Jesse says, because both those dumpsters are pretty much empty, right? And we see the guy, and it looks like he puts something in the little side pocket where the trucks pick up the dumpsters, right? Yeah. And if I'm a student or I live there, first of all, I wouldn't put my trash in the middle of the road like these people. But also, if I saw somebody putting something in a dumpster, the last thing I'm going to do is question him or care what the hell it is. I'm just walking on my way. You know what I mean? I saw him putting. Somebody asked me later. I'll tell him, yeah, I saw somebody putting something in the dumpster, but
right.
But doesn't it look like he knows exactly what he's looking for and exactly?
100%. Yeah,
It's not like rummaging through the
system.
dumpster looking for recyclables or anything like that.
No, I agree with you, without a doubt.
And Kane, did you say you saw a baggie, or you're just hypothesizing?
Oh no, 100%. You see the baggie. I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I guess I could show it now.
So our best guess is somebody's leaving bags of drugs in the dumpster, and probably the guy picking it up.
Well, no, he was buying it out of the window of the house that's to the left of the balcony on 1112.
Oh yeah.
So that you see it on camera, and it's so nonchalant. He's like, bro,
Keep going, guys. I gotta hit the bathroom. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah, no. He walks around from the front, like from beyond the parking lot where the dumpster is in the middle of is that Taylor or Linda Lane or whatever that is, the one that goes up to King Road. And you see him walk, and he walks behind the house, like between Jack D's house and that other house, goes around the house and goes by the first window. And I've often said that they blurred out whatever is in that window, because I think somebody's just standing in that window all night long. Karmic Retribution actually did something.
And is that the house where the lights are flickering like a Morse code?
No, so if you're looking at the light bulb cam from 1112, right? And you look down the stairs, right at the bottom of the stairs to the left, that space right there is this huge. It's literally the what do you call it? The Bermuda Triangle of this case, because throughout all of the night you have this. Somebody described it as they took a Sharpie and just kept drawing over it all night long, and every single hour it's there, and it moves, and it's crazy. And like I said, Karmic Retribution did I've watched as many hours as I can stand.
Hold on, please explain. What's always there?
The Shadow Beast. I call it the Shadow Beast. Here, let me share when Dago gets back. We can watch it here.
A Shadow Beast.
Shadow Beast. Oh, you don't know the Shadow Beast, bro?
I don't know the Shadow Beast. I've been
Christmas
sleeping.
Chaos. Well, I do long lives, and so we come across a lot of stuff. Humor doesn't write itself.
You do long lives. I've been worried about you, buddy. I see you streaming, and I see it going like 20 hours, and I'm thinking, the poor guy.
I haven't done 20 hours in a long. I don't know that I've ever done 20 hours. I think
what
I did 15 once just to show up Twiz. But that's about
what
it.
have you been doing lately? It seems like you've been going way.
Last night I did 10
than
hours. It was just on a whim. I'd just been sleeping too much, I guess, and
yeah.
It was a great show last night. We had Captain's Indies on last night. Double Jage. Let me show you that's amazing that you don't know about the Shadow Beast and the drug deal outside the window. And so a lot of people have said, "Oh, is that Ethan?" And I'm like, I don't think it's Ethan, but it's somebody probably getting some kind of cotton candy at 2 a.m. ish or whatever.
I've never really voiced my opinion on this, but I've thought it in my own head that this crime would make a lot more sense if Ethan was dealing. Because when you're dealing, you make enemies, right? And I know the Chapins behavior is sort of like they want to disassociate themselves with their son. They've got the urn in the basement. They've sort of insinuated that Ethan was going down the wrong path. I can't remember where I heard them insinuate that, but there's an indication that Ethan was on the outside of that family a little bit.
Well, they certainly have some kind of scorn for Xana, right?
Xana.
And you hear that from the beginning, and just girlfriend.
And then we start to find out that Hunter Chapin was maybe even at the scene, and what was he doing there? And there's something there. There's something there. I don't know what it is.
I think from what I can, what I've heard, and I think that they were looking for something that night. Whoever these perps were looking for something. I think it was drug paraphernalia, personally, and I think that they were being accused of stealing it or using it, and from what I can hear, so but that's what I think. Why people keep saying that the house was targeted. Have you heard that? Like, you've been hearing that lately, how they're saying, well, it wasn't this person, it was the house was targeted.
Oh, I
So,
remember
yeah.
the very beginning. That's exactly what they said, is the house was the target.
Yeah.
And that was what they used to suggest that everybody else is safe, because it was the house that was the target. And
Yeah.
the only reason for the house to be the target is if the house is a drug dealing house.
There
right?
you go. And well, it has been said that that has been confirmed by in interviews by I forget which one said it.
Well,
But
Dave, the interview with Dave, he said that it was well known amongst the college kids and the frats and this sororities that you go to that particular, and he said there was 2 or 3 houses like that, but you could go there, you could pick up coke, and if you bought 2 or 3 bags, they would do some with you to give you like some kind of discount or whatever. He went into great detail, and he made it sound like this wasn't just a place where people used, it was a place where a business. And there's really no reason to doubt Dave. Xana vetted his ID and verified that he was in a fraternity and going to the University of Idaho. He had seemingly nothing to gain, and his story matched up beautifully with WSU Kim's, and I don't believe they knew each other, and if you want to believe that they conspired to throw us off the track, that's a bit as big of a conspiracy theory as my theory on Cy Ray.
So I'm saying that's who it was. I couldn't remember, because I've just been, as they've been coming up, because Connor's awesome. He's been getting a lot of these interviews out there, and I've been listening to them back to back to back. So some of the dialogue, I don't have anything in front of me, like notes or anything. So I'm just trying to think, but thank you for confirming that it was Dave. Yeah, I know that I heard that. So we know that this was a party house. This was said. Now that in itself has been said many times. But what do they mean by party house, right? So all of them really are party houses, essentially, right? They all throw parties, all hang out, all doing their Greek life, fun college kid thing. But
We've
party
seen that on
house,
the body cams.
yeah, exactly. So, party house to me has quotations, and because we've heard these follow-up interviews, I believe that indeed is confirming what they really mean by party house.
Well, and also the fact that you hear it from who was it again? Was it Yessie that confirmed that they were doing coke in the bathroom or in Xana's bedroom?
Yeah, something to that effect. I can't remember who it was.
And then since we've heard a few others, but when you compare that to the interviews with Hunter Johnson and Emily Elant and all these other people, so now we know that all those people, and those were the people that were more adjacent to the crime, right? They were there for the 911 call. They were potentially involved, or when I say involved, I don't mean they were killers. I mean, they were involved to a degree where they would know, potentially know exactly what happened in the house. And all those people were lying, clearly. I mean, if you believe that Yessie and a few of the other people that have now told us about the cocaine use, if you believe they were telling the truth, then clearly Hunter and Emily and all these other people who would have more, who were closer to the residents of the house, who would have more intimate knowledge, all denied any of that, and they clearly lying.
Yeah,
And I mean,
absolutely.
to me, those people have no credibility anyways, because they were clearly lying about the 911 call. They were clearly lying about what they knew about what was happening in the house already before we heard anything about the drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing is too, my one of my questions and one of the things that always like bugs me about this is that um seeing, Hunter Johnson always answering the doors, like in the cams that we've seen. Uh, except for Xana answered one night. But he was a couple times during the nighttime noise complaints, he answers the door with a friend of his or whatever. And then he answers the sliding glass door during the day when the cops went up, and then Kaylee finally comes out and he goes
All
and
right,
gets
I'm
Caitlin.
sorry, you guys.
Right. No problem, Dago.
I just had three things happen all at the same time. I had to run to the little boy's room because my coffee went through me, and then our realtor called, and then the loan guy called. Everything happened at once, so my apologies.
Yeah, no problem.
I didn't even know you were gone.
I figured you would say something like that, sir.
But you see
Okay.
my suspicions with that, that always, so that coupled with a lot of other things we know, like, them saying they had a funny feeling and, so they locked the door, because they had an eerie feeling and then, just the fact that, he was there and he was there on the scene, one of the first people on the scene during the 911 call, that we know that he was called and he ran over there. So we were just talking about that earlier before he got there before Emily did. And who was the other one? Josie
Josie and Emily. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rosie.
Like I said, the G's, I first became suspicious of Hunter Johnson, and when I say suspicious, I mean more suspicious than the rest of them. When we heard the 911 call for the G's, and it was Hunter was called over to kick down the door, and then shortly thereafter we get the actual call, and we can see that none of that was true. So somebody lied. Did Hunter lie or did the G's lie?
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, you got that interview with him and Emily, and you can clearly see that he's in my opinion, he's been he's got some severe health issues or he's been using drugs. And using drugs seems a lot more likely for a 20-year-old kid than severe health issues.
Or some it's possible that your conscience got to you and you got some nerve problems going on, or maybe it affected him in a negative way as to what he saw or what he knows. Any of those things can fit into that bracket. I agree with that.
And he was
But the extreme weight loss, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing I don't know, the extreme weight loss to me, it pointed towards drug use.
Well, that can be nerves too, but yes, I see what you're saying. I get it fully.
Yeah.
He had me at the haircut. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're gonna hang on to that? That's what you're going with today? I don't think so. Emily, I think that marriage of theirs, there's something weird about it. Like it's a beard, you know what I mean? It's a cover-up marriage because she's at that kind of, I'm ready to go play field hockey or at least be the coach today. And then he's like, well, I like this new haircut I got, and I lost 400 pounds, and now in the I think it was Netflix thing that, okay, I'll leave that, but they make it sound, no, it was one of the old ones where they're like, they do the interview with them, and they get to the room, and they make it sound like he chased him out because he was protecting them from what they were going to see. Okay,
that always
twisted
gave
that.
me a puke taste in my mouth.
Yeah, that always bothers me. People call me
four
hero.
innocent girls couldn't handle it. He protected them.
Calling him a hero. I'm like, you guys are really reaching.
And they totally made it up, and you can see it with this new Netflix one, because with the new Netflix one, I forget what officer you have, but they try to make it look like Jack D was in the back of the car being a smartass. He's like, I don't know anything. Like, we got one detained in the back of the car, the girlfriends, the one of the victims' boyfriends or whatever, And I'm like, did they really just try to make it look like? And they literally say the boyfriend showed up on the scene, surprised everybody, and was briefly detained. Literally say those words, and I'm just like,
It was not like that at
I
all.
was wondering about that too, because that seems like a potential like legal problem for the police, because they never told him he was detained. They never read him his rights. They asked him if he wanted to sit in the car to keep warm. I don't think it's legal to detain somebody through trickery like that. You have a certain obligation to let them know that they're being detained.
Yeah, they have to. They absolutely have to. Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but this is also Moscow. Don't forget. So on we go.
Could take time.
They're trying to juggle a lot of balls in the air right now, particularly with 4 victims. It's going to be a very complex crime scene. It's going to be a complex investigation.
New details are emerging in the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. Tonight, the Latah County coroner says the 4 students were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times.
Okay. Latah County coroner says the victims were likely asleep, defensive wounds, and stabbed multiple times. Okay. That's a contradiction within itself. Explain this to me. How were they likely asleep but have defensive wounds and being stabbed multiple times? It's bullshit. And I'm telling you right now, Kathy, my butt, for those who like it said that way, is absolutely on board with this, okay? She's absolutely on board, whether she wants to be or not. None of them were asleep, as we know now. Like I've been saying, we insert our knowledge into this now. Nobody was asleep. Everybody had fucking defensive wounds, Ethan included, okay? Madison, who was the one that everybody believed was asleep, had more defensive wounds than Kaylee did on her arm. You know what I'm saying? So, again, bingo to this.
Don't we know that Mabat and Bill Thompson had previously covered up crimes and been involved? Isn't there something with Molly McMichael and her previous husband and potentially robbing a drug dealer and
Molly's husband got shot in the face and was killed. Yes,
and that was somebody trying to steal his.
I think
his
they
stash.
went there. They went there to that house, from my understanding, to try to rob him of his stuff. And
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's right. So Molly and her husband tried to
Yeah.
take somebody's stash, and then they turned that to a fight over furniture.
That's what we were told. Yes, yes.
So, I
sir.
mean, and Mabbott and Bill Thompson had their hands all over that case as well. So
yes, they did.
trying to establish their lack of credibility there.
Right. And then not too long after, I don't know exactly when, and this may have nothing to do with anything, folks, but it is definitely something of interest. Mabat's son ended up passing away from something as well. So I don't know if it, like I said, if it has anything to do with anything at all. More than likely it doesn't. I'm not saying it does. All I'm telling you is there's a lot of things that go on around the people that are involved in this. And like I said years ago, so for those of you listening, take it the way you want, because I know you want to. I said this whole town is inbred with people, meaning everybody knows everybody, everybody's related to everybody that works with each other, and so on and so forth. Not true inbreeding for those of you that have one brain cell. Take it a little bit further and get into your mind if you have the ability to do that and understand what I'm saying by that, okay? Because that's truly what it is. They all know each other. They've all known each other. They've all worked together. They're interrelated, cousins and brothers and stuff of them all working with each other, okay? And it tells you, at least it tells me, that they are all they're all in the same boat, floating down the river together, okay? Intertwined. There we go. SRB. Thank you. I like the way I said it, but she's right. It's intertwined. But again, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm not saying that means that they're all together in on this whole thing. Okay, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that they're gonna watch each other's backs, and they have watched each other's backs. Okay, we know that they have, and we know that they will continue to. Period. Look what they've done in 4 years. 4 years, folks. Nothing's changed. They continue to run forward. There's cover-ups of cover-ups of cover-ups of cover-ups. every time somebody starts to get a latch onto this, they got to go and cover it up with another one. So Jesse's probably going to be leaving us here shortly. I
That's
saw the
true.
look away. So just saying, I wanted to point that out because this here is a bunch of bullshit. The only thing truthful here is it stabbed multiple times. Okay. My butt herself says that it was done with a very large knife. Well, a 7 by 1 3/4 inch knife is not a very large knife to me. It never has been. And we know that things don't match up in a certain way. I figured, Jesse, it's okay. So thank you. If you're taking off now, thank you for joining us. Very much appreciated for your input and for the time that you were here. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Yes, sir. Thank you, Uncensored, for that. Very much appreciated. Moving on.
Authorities found no sign of sexual assault. Moscow police say at this point in the investigation, they do not believe the 2 surviving roommates or the man seen standing near a local food truck were involved in the murders. Police also addressed rumors swirling online claiming the victims were gagged and tied, saying those are not accurate, and the identity of the 911 caller has not been released. Detectives say they've received nearly 500 tips, which are being processed, investigated, and cleared. 38 people who may have information about the murders have been interviewed. The whereabouts of the killer and the knife used are still unknown. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road to look for evidence. Police have also gone to local businesses to see if anyone recently purchased a fixed blade knife. Anyone who saw something suspicious, has video surveillance, or can provide relevant information about the murders is asked to call the Moscow Police Department.
Investigators are still trying to piece together where the 4 University of Idaho students went the night before they were found in their Moscow home, stabbed to death. Investigators are hoping the map released today will provide additional tips from the community.
The map details the night of Saturday, November 12th into the early hours of Sunday, November 13th. It highlights locations and approximate times when Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan were in downtown Moscow, while Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were at the Sigma Chi house. Investigators believe Madison and Kaylee were at the Corner Club and approximate.
We all know this is not true, okay? They were all back at the residence at 1:45. Xana and Ethan were not there at 1:45. Xana and Ethan were not there at 2 a.m. according to Hitler's affidavit, okay? They still hadn't been there at 2 a.m. So that's not true at this point. We know that now. And we know the rest of the timeline as far as that's concerned. So the big question still to this day, and they will not release it, and you know they know it because they have their data. Where the hell was Anna and Ethan moving forward? Pete says that he last saw them at 1:20 or 25 when he was leaving to go next door to the ag frat house. Where did they go at that point forward? They were not home.
Who was it? Who was the female that said they saw Xana, like she had a picture of her playing a guitar around 2 o'clock or something, like a little after 2 o'clock.
Is it Allie Benson?
It may have been. I can't remember.
Speaking of,
yeah.
Speaking of her, guys, that's an interview we need to see. We need to see Allie Benson's interview, period. Because I think Allie Benson's interview can tie a whole bunch of things together. This is my opinion. So if they're not releasing it, I'm going to try to FOIA that one because I think that one's very important.
Yeah, it was one of the ones that we've already heard. I think it was which one? She said, yeah, Xana was I think it was the one, I think I know now, the one that says she's close with Sigma Chi and I forget which one it is, but anyway, she was saying how Xana that night she had a picture of her, like or seen a picture of her. I think she posted on she posted on her what do you call that, this not Snapchat, I guess Snapchat maybe, I don't know, social media. She posted, yeah, probably Instagram, but she posted on social media and there was a picture of her, hanging out and playing.
The last thing I
guitar.
heard was that somebody saw her I think it was at Allie's house with a White Claw in her hand.
Okay.
That's the last thing I heard.
And it was after 2 o'clock. I just remember hearing that. It was after 2 when that was posted. So it could have been there too.
Here's the problem with all these too, realizes we need to figure out who's telling the truth, who's not telling the truth. Kennedy Fitzgerald tells us one story, Dylan tells us another story, Bethany tells us this story. Ava tells us another story. You know, since she's
Yep.
Sandra D, are we supposed to believe what she says?
Yeah.
Or that's what I'm saying. There's so much of this, and everybody's telling a different story, and it is wow. That's all I can say.
Yeah, a lot of redactions too that we don't, some things are just that may
Right.
point into a better, a clearer direction that we just aren't getting.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. You are
Yeah,
absolutely correct. I
but I
see you,
definitely
Mike.
agree. I agree with you about everybody though. The
The
stories being
right,
different.
right. So their timeline from the first week is what is off. We obviously know that, but I don't think it's because they don't know it. I think it's because they need it to be off for us and everybody else that is seeing this. It needs to be off. They know the timeline. They absolutely know the timeline. I think for everybody, even if they weren't 100% sure of it, then they definitely knew after they received Maddie and Xana's data because that tells everybody where they were. They know where Xana was. Typically, where Xana was, Ethan very likely was very close by, and if he wasn't, I'm sure they had his at some point after the fact. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they couldn't have been too far apart. They weren't. It's not. We don't know that there was any argument between them. They were always together. Everybody's talking about everything was good between them. They were lovey-dovey, perfect for each other. So they couldn't have been separate from each other. They were found.
Not too long, right?
Yeah.
Now, of late, though, honestly, realize
Yes.
they've been probing that angle that we
Yes,
see now.
yeah, they have. I mean, like I said, I don't. That I agree that they definitely were probably separated at some point for a period
Yeah.
of time, but not for the whole night, is what I
Not for
mean.
the whole night. Right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And this here also, there's so many things wrong with this because if you read the timeline for when Ethan went to the Hungadanga, he was dropping Maisie off at the her sorority at 9 o'clock that night, from my understanding, and then he dropped somebody off at Sigma Chi, and then he brought the vehicle back by 9:30. They said allegedly. So he's not here at this party yet. Okay, once again, more information that is not true with this whole thing, and it's been a problem the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time.
And it's really strange because it seems to be the timeline that is the most skewed and
Especially with these two. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, and that just makes us want to look at it closer. So
Absolutely. We've
Yeah.
never ever been given, no matter how many ways we've looked at it, we've never been given a true to form timeline for Xana and Ethan ever. And I think
Mhm.
that's on purpose. I truly do.
Oh, absolutely. I believe it's to be a deflection, for sure.
Sure.
Times when Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan were in downtown Moscow, while Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were at the Sigma Chi house. Investigators believe Madison and Kaylee were at the Corner Club on Saturday from 8 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Sunday. Then they were at the Grub Truck on Main Street at 1:40 a.m. 5 minutes later, the map says they returned to their home on King Road. I drove that route this afternoon, starting at 4th and Main and ending at the King Road home. With some light traffic on the road, I arrived at the house in about 3 minutes. This suggests it's reasonable to believe Madison and Kaylee traveled by car from the food truck, but that detail has not been confirmed by police. Investigators also say Ethan and Xana were at a party at Sigma Chi from 8 to 9 p.m., then returned to the home on King Road at 1:45 a.m. The fraternity is a short 3-minute walk from the house, but still, there is a 5-hour gap on their location between the party and arriving at home. Investigators hope someone might remember being at or near the locations they've identified around the same time and potentially saw something suspicious or relevant to the investigation. Police are asking those people to call the tip line or email with that information.
This is all good information.
Hold on a second. I got to fix something. I don't know how or why that happened. All right. Let's go back to it. Wait, wrong thing. Hold on. Hold on. What is going on here? Hold on a minute. I'm sorry.
But it brings up even more questions, such as, did investigators use the students' cell phones to identify the locations and times on this map? Did Madison and Kylie walk or drive or get a ride back to the home? And did Xana and Ethan spend only 1 hour at the Sigma Chi fraternity? I have several calls into Idaho State Police and other local authorities working this investigation. I have not heard back, but we will continue to press for answers as this story develops.
He just called her Kylie.
Rowley, Creme 2 News.
He just called Kaylee Kylie. Just like Hunter Johnson
Yeah,
did.
they always. I don't get it. All you gotta do is look at the name. You can spell it.
Good grief.
So that's where they were the first week. Okay, after the crimes were committed, that's where they were the first week, and it's so far off, and they're telling people, no worries, everything's good to go. This was targeted, but you're safe. We have no idea who did it, but you're safe. Don't worry about it. Just take our word for it. Trust us, bro.
Right. How did they know? How did they know? They didn't even know if the house was the target, if the students were the target.
That went all the way to the end, Kane. At the very end, after the sentencing hearing, Thompson stepped up and said, well, we don't even know, because they was asking him questions again. Well, Brian could have just chose to do this at random right before it happened. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. Come on.
If it was just one guy going rogue, it would be much messier than that.
Thank you.
Much messier. There's no
And there
way.
would have been stuff everywhere, realized. There would have been transfers everywhere. And then we have people saying that there was no proof of a cleanup. You're full of shit. I'm sorry. There's obvious cleanup, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When you have blood on the walls going down the hallway to Xana's room on both sides of the wall, it goes all the way to the baseboard. But guess what? There's no blood on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, come on now.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it seem to you that it could be like the forces or the groups that have been threatening finally fulfilled their threat? You know what I mean? And so everybody's like, whoa, these guys are serious. You know what I mean? Like, everybody
very
kind of
likely.
knew, you know?
Yeah, very likely. And wait 1 second here. I'm sorry.
And maybe even up to like Scott Green, or just like standing back in like reverence, like we have to address. This is something out of our pay grade.
Yeah, it's a huge mess, and this is we're just stepping into this at this point. Like I said, I just wanted to take this back to the first week of the case and remind everybody what they were telling us then, and then remembering everything we've been given. I'll just go with the past month. Okay, more like 3 months, but the last month with everything we've gotten on this case, look at what they told us to the first week of the case, and look at what we have now.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't
It's like what they told us wasn't possible was exactly what it was. It's not anything to do with cotton candy. It's not anything to do with the love triangle.
None of it.
Don't worry, nothing to see here. And then turns out they were just deflecting. We knew it then.
It's a little bit of everything they told us it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you just go with your gut. Your gut tells you, give me bacon, give me burgers,
I mean,
I
it
was
is.
saying that earlier about it being something that we, as as people, you know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know how things are supposed to go, and
Right.
when things go in different directions, naturally you're going to be like, well, wait a minute, you're going to question it, right? And you're going to have your suspicions, and so they're telling you not to listen to that.
That's exactly right there.
Right. Well, it comes round that those two towns are in the middle of nowhere, in the Palouse Mountains, where it's a hike to get out there for most places, and so it's business as usual. We lied about this, until we didn't have to, till the walls were closing in. and now we're gonna lie about this. They don't learn from their own lessons. Like those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And so that's the the idiot up, dummy down aspect of this case is they didn't learn from their own fucking mistakes.
They were given the option to fix all of this too, Kane. They were given the option, as much I'm not defending him, but Cy Ray himself, it was in the documents, pointed out the problems that were going on with this case and gave them the option to fix it, which tells me they didn't want to. This is the direction they went, so that takes us away from the possibility of mistakes. Okay, these aren't mistakes. This is intentional stuff being done. It was not. If you're when somebody says, "Okay, you screwed this up, you messed that up, and this is a mistake here," go fix it real quick. I'm letting you know you did this or whatever. If they chose not to even blink about it, they're doing it intentionally. Period. This is all intentional.
And the problem is, it's so unapologetic. They just have their chests out, and they just stand together strong. And I can see where like Pennsylvania and WSU will provide cover for another force because they're doing it too. And Moscow's like, hey guys, don't mind us over here. We got a little situation we're doing. Just kind of go along with what we say, and we got you, man. We got our own shit. Don't worry. We're knee deep in it. You do what you do. You do Moscow.
And I said that a long time ago, Donnie. You can't make as many mistakes here as they did. Okay, there's no damn way that you can make this many mistakes and not realize it. Okay, and then you're doing weird shit. You're leaving one officer there the night of to clean up all the evidence and take it by himself. Are you serious? No. Sorry, no witnesses to what he's doing. You leave another officer there to spend the night that people have questions about him as it is now. Rosenthal's there spending the night by himself as well. I don't like that either. Many of the things that they did are very questionable, and there's reasons why. Okay, they've had Brady violations pop up all over this area before for other cases. The same people involved in it. It's crazy. So it's not okay. None of it's okay.
Nope, not at all.
What does this say? Julia said, honestly, spent 16-hour days on this 3 months and first 3 months. And honestly, almost everything we know was said then too. A lot of it stuff did come out back then, Julia, 100%. But we were told that was not true, that we were conspiracy theorists to stay away from it. So that is true.
No, we're the weird ones when you have the race to tear down the house. You have a cleaning crew show up before they've even found a suspect. And then they're already going in there, they're removing pieces of drywall, and then the house has to come down. And you have the chief of police pull up in a Pennsylvania U-Haul, back it up, beep, 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 unload all like that. Can you think of one person in the world that was a family member of those people that would want anything from that house? Like, oh yeah, I wanted that nightstand covered in smeared BLOD. Thanks.
I would doubt it. I mean, Christie's excuse for it, which I still think it would have been something that they should have left it up for the court, at least the hearing, if they planned on having the trial.
Absolutely,
bro. They didn't plan on it, obviously, because both sides agreed to it, and they knew it then.
Well, Anne did try to put an injunction to stop it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Diggs, here's what we missed. Now that we've seen all these alleged crime scene photos, which is, to me, starting to seem much more like a recreated Victoria Gooch crime scene imagination that happened in either another part of the house or somewhere else, is that, okay, you were loading up in the U-Haul Xana's little nightstand, that white nightstand, and you asked the families if they wanted it. Now that we're seeing what was in there, dude, it's like, where did you get the gall to even remove it, let alone to offer it to family members? I mean, it's disgusting,
Very weird and shady shit going on with it. Yes, agreed. So
The Catawba says they never asked for their stuff to be given back to them.
Yeah, I remember. at
Yeah.
that time, but then after the fact, it came out again. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to call it quits on this for today. Been at 3.5. There's more to this that we could we probably will down the road jump into it. I just wanted to jump into this in a wide open discussion on this to bring everything back up to the table to point to things. Like I said, the first week we were told all of this, and now 4 years into this, we have all of this. And if you kind of blend what we have now into what we were told that first week, it's obvious what it is. It's very obvious what it is. Lots and lots of
Real
things
quick before you make everybody wonderful people, share this presentation I have real quick, if you don't mind. This is from when you were on my show, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. All right. In one second here. I just, hold on a minute. Let me finish what I was
sorry,
saying.
I know you were setting up to go. Sorry.
They were shit, what the hell was I saying? Damn it.
Sorry.
Hold on a minute. All right, hold on a second. Forget it. It's all right. All right, what do we got here?
My bad. Jesse was saying he's not familiar with the Shadow Beast, but this isn't the Shadow Beast. This is the guy in the window that hands whoever walks by a little bag. You remember? Here, I'll play it.
All right, hold on.
Here.
Two with the, and this is a area that of my, I guess I'd have to call it expertise, and Lucy would laugh at that, of course. And that is the nearest window to the camera, as Jeff calls it, the light bulb camera, that caught my attention. And so, mostly the footage from that camera I've watched has been at night. And to my surprise, when I saw it during the day, what's up, Perfect Prisoner? Very nice to see you. What a joke, and expert in staging crime scenes. Yeah. Very suspicious circumstances surrounding her. Hopefully, I didn't press enter for JJ. I apologize. Oh, what did I do? I removed it from the stage. I'm just messing up in all kinds of ways. I shared that a long time ago. There it is, my friend. And so here it comes again. I caught them, Dago, busted. Finally, with all my work. The whole time, okay, so it's the camera's on a balcony, right? To the left of the...
This is probably going to go longer than I thought. I just wanted to show Jesse where the Shadow Beast was. It's just outside of the window. You may have seen the thing Karmic Retribution did, where it looks like there's a witch in that bottom right corner bowing down at the window. It's just a weird thing because there's this, like, for the whole night, it's like somebody's scribbling over it with a Sharpie. But
yeah,
anyway, I just wanted to show that.
I remember
to
this. It's very odd for sure. I remember this. But
Yeah,
no,
but
I appreciate it.
he's the one they call Dumpster Guy over by Jack DeCour's place. He walks around the house, and then this guy hands him something out the window. And it's so nonchalant, but you can literally see it's like a cotton candy bag.
And interestingly enough, it's been stated recently because of things we found out recently that there's some people that think that this person that is walking around out here could have been Cole Berenberg after he was thrown out of the corner club. So just something else to think on. There's no facts to support it. There's nothing out there. It's just a thought that I've heard. So I think it's interesting either way. But as is this video here is very interesting and weird. But thanks, Kane. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll find the one where I'm talking about, and then I'll share it next time I see you guys.
Okay. Sounds good, buddy. Appreciate you
All right,
very
brother.
much.
Have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Take care. And also, like I said, hopefully you guys, I may be able to make it tonight to do the Cafe Conspiracy. I really want to, but there's so much going on around here right now. I got to figure it all out. But if I do, it's going to be an interesting one. If it's what I want it to be, I'm not telling you. I'm going to let it be a surprise if anybody's interested. It definitely is out of the realm of the normal stuff we cover in here. And that's the whole point behind it. So if anybody's interested in the conspiracy world and different stories we've been told about conspiracies of crimes, hauntings, UFOs, Bigfoot, that's what we do in there, guys. So if you're into it, I hope to see you there if I make it. So have a great night, everybody. If I don't see you, thank you to my moderators. You guys are amazing. I love you guys to death. That being said, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change nothing, because that is what I love truly about all you beautiful people is you, yourself, you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true, a perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light, a reckoning delivered in the night. SWAT serves the warrant, loud and clear, the sound of justice, the only thing we hear at the TruCrime Cafe. We watch the suspect finally pay. The dark truth is backed and signed and sealed. The wound is closed, the name is finally healed. It's finally healed. The cafe's empty, closed for the night. We put the darkness back into the light. We'll wipe the counter, set the empty chair, and wait right here for the next secret laid bare. Until the next one.